Kings will have to worry about is the fact that they don't have De'Aaron Fox.
Right.
And, a little later we'll play some sound from Coach Mike Brown about how they're going to handle that and how Davion Mitchell is going to have to slide into that role as well. What are your initial thoughts when somebody says, hey, this game we can basically not punt it but not count it the same because there's no De'Aaron?
I mean, sure, in the sense of, don't make any judgments about the team in total because they don't have their best player for sure. But at the same time, these games still count. The NBA isn't going to not count this towards the Kings schedule just because De'Aaron Fox isn't playing. So they have to. I mean, how many times in the Kings past have, they're supposed to win a game finally because Team X doesn't have Y player, and more times than not, it doesn't end up mattering when they play the Kings. So it shouldn't matter when the shoe is on the other foot. The Kings need to still, and the Kings will approach this game as if they're still trying to win. But us as fans, we should not look at this game as whatever happens. It's not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a game that's going to count, and Davion, the guys are going to go out there and try and win, and they still have the horses to go out there and make it happen. We talked a lot on Monday about guys who need to step up with De'Aaron out. There's tons of guys who are more than capable and are now going to get the opportunity to shine against this Warrior team that, frankly, is very beatable. They just have to learn how to control Steph Curry.
Here we go.
We're going to talk about it a lot today.
Here we go.
But it's really a simple equation. It's not that. I mean, the equation isn't hard. Of course, going out there and showing your work is a lot harder.
Why do you think they don't? And look, the Warriors, their IQ is off the charts. What they lack in maybe athleticism at this point in their careers, talking about the big three mostly, not really Steph, but
is Chris Paul considered in their big three nowadays?
Chris Paul isn't considered in their big three, but they're part of the veteran. I guess instead of big three, we should just say the veterans, because Kevon Looney isn't the most athletic guy in the world. Yeah. CP3. So why do you think that they would decide not to trap Steph immediately all day, every day?
I mean, how many times do they have to play this guy and learn the same lesson? I think this is now it was 7 games. This is now 8 games, going to be probably 9. This could be the 9th game where Steph Curry has now scored over 30 points against this team. He scored in 30 every single game of that 7-game series, and then, of course, scored more than 30 the other night.
Yeah.
They need to force the ball out of his hands, and I know Kings fans might not want to hear this because they had to live through letting Klay Thompson try and beat them with his 37 points or whatever it was in that quarter.
Yeah.
But you gotta live with that. You have to live with Andrew Wiggins having 25 points or Klay Thompson having a 30-point explosion of a game. You gotta live with those things because you cannot continue to go down with Steph Curry having a massive night. You've got to force the ball out of his hands, and you got to blitz him the second he crosses half court. Double team him. I know Davion Mitchell is known for his defense, and we saw him absolutely hound Steph Curry in that series, but even Davion being on Steph in that series, again, Steph still was able to put up 30. So I think, that equation definitely leads to a harder game for Steph, but clearly it's no dip in production. So if I have to watch Steph Curry put up another 30 ball on this team, I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't.
And that's why, respectfully, I'm not watching this game with you. I had to watch the game at home, or the game at home. We were sitting next to each other.
I was like, we're gonna already, be golfing.
We can, but if things start getting,
you do not want to.
But if things start getting squirrely, I might just say, hey, I think I got a text. I gotta go feed the cats or something like. Aren't the cats still in Alameda? I gotta go, and I'll be back.
I have to leave.
That's why I have to leave right now. I'm sorry for all of that. But talking about the Kings and them trying to get this W against the Warriors, a little undermatched and underhanded, missing De'Aaron Fox. So we got that going. Don't worry, I see you on the YouTube chat. Say turn. When we get back from break in a little bit, we are going to really go in on the Raiders. We got that as well. And we also have Talking Niners and the trade that never was. I don't know if you ever saw that 30 for 30, the best that never was, right? That was one of the best 30 for 30s. We have the trade that never was. And you have John Lynch now saying that report of the Adoree Jackson trade was never a thing.
Right.
So I guess I'm believing John, or he's saving face,
yeah.
right? Some people think it was Jalen Johnson. And then once the Bears said, we're not moving off of him,
right,
then the Niners didn't have anything else to do. So for that, we will have Akash Anavarathan coming in at 11 a.m. to talk Niners. He does a great job independently covering the Niners. So we will have him at 11 a.m. to talk all things Niners. So, yeah, man. And, just to preview a little bit of the Raiders. And I feel bad because we already got on the Raiders.
We did, yes.
But this is almost, we got to get some sound. We got our boy Nate hanging out. We got to come back with some happy day or something, because this is a happy day for the Raider fan base. This is a happy day for Raider Nation.
This is not sad at all.
It is not sad at all. And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, because I know we're trying to move in a different part of life, and I'm not condoning any of this.
Okay.
But sometimes bullying works. And I don't know if Raider Nation, if it was really because of that. I know a lot of people think, and we had this conversation last week about whether you say we with the team or not, right?
I have no problem with it, clearly. I think I literally just did it like 5
Well, I have no problem with it either. If you spend your hard-earned money and it affects your well-being, and you have memories connected to a team, you can say we. I have no problem with that. And I would say that the Raider fan base, the Raider Nation, they were giving it everywhere. Mark Davis, did you see during the WNBA finals when he was just walking somewhere and someone was just holding a sign in front of his face, fire McDaniels? That stuff wears on you. That just wears on you. And the straw that broke the camel's back was that embarrassment on Monday. And you got to hang out. I mean, there are other owners, right? And if I'm Mark Davis, they all got egos.
Yep. It's super prideful.
There's probably an owner group chat, and Mark was just getting flamed. Yeah. He was just getting destroyed. Like,
just a lot of
how's Jimmy G working out for you, huh? How's that going? So, I'm happy that the Raiders have moved on, right? So we'll talk a little bit about who they're going to in the interim when we get back, and we'll talk about who's going to be the quarterback when we get back, because that is going to be interesting. Got to get to a break. When we get back, got to get to the Raiders. We'll get to the Niners, and then at around 11:15, we'll start with our Kings talk. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
O'Reilly.
It's See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Replace your worn-out wiper blades and get up to a $20 O'Reilly gift card after rebate when you purchase a pair of select wiper blades. See store for details. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades for free. Stop by your O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to Jiffy Lube.
That's almost been forgotten.
It was
about.
terrible. It was terrible. They had us thinking Bagent was the guy, and then it really looked bad once we found out the next week that he wasn't the guy. And now I literally Googled Raiders QBs 2023. They haven't even listed Brian Hoyer, so I don't know if they secretly got him up out of there on the low.
Like, you're with the other Patriots guy.
You're just gonna have to moonwalk on out of here. Annie, are you okay? And hopefully the Raiders will be okay now that they've moved on. And a lot is said about Mark Davis, and he's not a perfect owner at all. I think they have weird connections to the Cowboys. I know Jerry helped get them to Vegas, and I think that the way he handles things can be a little Jerry-esque.
He learned from his dad.
Right.
So,
get about the kitchen. You know what I mean? Just make good decisions and let other people do their thing. So maybe that's the start of this. I don't know who they get. There's been a lot of names about Jim Harbaugh who might actually work out because Jim has a cheating scandal going on in Michigan.
Jim almost left for the NFL last year. He almost joined the Vikings.
Well, that's what happens, right? When something goes down, I don't really want to deal with this mess. I'm just going to mob out to the NFL. So Jim Harbaugh, Raider fans, are you into that? A couple different guys. I don't know. I don't know where they go. Yeah. And then what happens? So they decide to go with Antonio Pierce, right, who's Super Bowl champ with the Giants and a Pro Bowl player as well. So they decide to go with him. And now the question is, and they go with Champ Kelly as an interim GM. The question is, what happens if we see a repeat of Rich Bisaccia and they sneak into the playoffs, right? I don't think this would happen.
Let's not put that evil out there.
even they go on a run,
yeah,
right? Then now the question would be, well, you messed up with Bisaccia when you didn't move forward with him. Are you going to do it again? Or are you going to let Antonio Pierce rock? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, they almost have to do their due diligence because it's like in terms of looking around at other people, even if it is a successful season, whatever that looks like, and Antonio Pierce clearly, shifts the locker room. I think they still have to look for that long-term goal or that long-term guy. And I'm not saying Antonio Pierce can't be that,
right?
But this Raiders situation has to get cleaned. Like obviously Raider fans would know better than me, but just how long has it been since that franchise truly was on stable ground? Not like, okay, a year or two of success, but like legitimately, okay, you guys are building towards something. You could argue it's been since John Gruden's first stint in the early 2000s. Like the level of instability for this franchise is truly Kings-esque.
Honestly, when it was, and he has since had a very interesting career, whether that's on the football field or off. But honestly, it was those years with Jack Del Rio. That was the most
that's
stable.
Where it was stable. Yes,
that was the most stabilized.
Stable, because even that was like 500 or a little bit over.
You had Derek Carr pre-injury, Latavius Murray.
Right.
You had Khalil Mack for some of that.
Yeah.
You had Cooper as well. So that was when Raider fans thought we're in the mix.
Moving in the right direction.
Right. We are moving in the right direction. You were excited to watch. And then the foot gets broken. Right. Exactly. The foot gets broken. Khalil Mack gets moved. Amari Cooper gets moved. And then after that, it just gets a little rough.
Yeah.
Rough in the paint for the Raiders. But, this is what we talked about, right? Because you couldn't continue to stay in this weird situation. Yeah. And the whole thing is, aren't they technically still paying John Gruden?
Yes, they are.
So
that's the problem.
So a lot of people,
I believe they're paying McDaniels for the next 4 years.
Yes.
As well,
so a lot of people thought that the Raiders would be stuck with McDaniels because of that. Yeah. But that embarrassment was too much. That embarrassment, whatever that number was, that they have to pay John Gruden, millions and millions, John Gruden and McDaniels, millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. Mark Davis said, I don't care.
Yeah.
I can't get flamed in the group chat anymore.
Yeah.
That's what
that's
this
really
is worth.
What it came down to.
That's what this is worth to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's so bad in that situation. And I don't even know where the Raiders would look because, frankly, that's a fantastic point that they're already paying two coaches because I was going to say they need to look for a program builder, but I think that's what they've tried to do with their last two coaching contracts is I think what Gruden had didn't he have like a 10-year contract or something like that he signed?
Yeah, it was 10 years, $100 million.
Yeah, and then McDaniel signs for 6 years. And clearly, I mean, the idea is a good one, again, to try and build somebody that's like, we're going to hire you and we want you to build this thing in your image for the foreseeable future. You have full control. You have years of stability, but it's led to the situation they're in now. So almost I wonder, Will they go with a guy more inexperienced and more possibly short term or low risk, high reward in the interim, like in the next year or two, because they're paying those guys, and almost wait to get off of that salary,
right,
so that you can then kind of hopefully not make the same mistake, but go about the same process.
Well, that sounds like a good situation for Antonio Pierce if he's able to get it done.
Really does.
Because, some of the other names, Jim Harbaugh, that might be different because Jim Harbaugh has all the money in the world already, and now he might have to get out of Dodge with this Michigan cheating scandal.
Yeah, Pete Carroll situation.
And I don't know if you saw that video. It was bad. I don't know if it was from last year or whenever, when the assistant coach is on the sideline, literally looking at their sideline, figuring out what they're doing. So it's
insane.
It's bad. It's Astros bad. Thank goodness the Astros aren't in the World Series again. And we'll talk a little bit about the World Series later in the show as well. The other name that we've been hearing that I don't know, man. The college coaches scare me with no experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Harbaugh would be different. I don't think I'm in on Lincoln Riley.
I would not be.
I don't understand if you haven't won. I understand if you've won at the highest level in college. Sure, that makes sense. But I don't get why you would go with somebody who hasn't, with this amazing quarterback. He's been at USC a couple years, and they're starting to tank and flake and whatever is going on there. I don't get the Lincoln Riley thing.
It does give me, and maybe it's because they're both Oklahoma guys, but it does give me a little bit of Cliff Kingsbury.
That's what I'm
vibes,
saying.
Where it's just like, okay, yeah, he's the hot young coach who's running the stylish offense in college, but like you said, there's no track record of like real sustainable success there. Like Lincoln Riley has had the fortune of having some amazing quarterbacks in his program, and that's really led to a lot of his success. I mean, look at USC this year. Actually, if you want anyone to ask any USC fan, I don't think they're too happy with the results of that team this year.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the right move. To me, again, the Raiders don't. You could just look at the Raiders past. It's very Lane Kiffin, very much so. And like, it might not be. Who knows? Everybody's their own individual person. Every situation is different. It might not be, but you have to look back at your past and try and not make the same mistake that you made in the past. And it just feels like it's way too close to that Lane Kiffin situation. And it might not be, but I think that the Raiders need something more established. And the thing is, it's kind of crazy because that's what they've just about made every mistake in the book. And so it almost is tough experiment to kind of go back and look at the previous mistakes, because you could argue John Gruden was somebody who's almost the opposite of Lincoln Riley, where he's well established, you have like a track record of success, and that didn't work out. So I don't think the Lincoln Riley thing is a good idea, but at the same time, at this point, you gotta look at every option.
Right. Well, and both Big 12, but Lincoln Riley was Oklahoma, now USC, and Cliff Kingsbury was Texas Tech.
Right.
Both had generational quarterbacks. Yeah. One had what we believe to be a generational quarterback in Caleb Williams, and one could possibly be the GOAT.
Yeah.
And neither of them have won at a high level. So I don't understand why that would change anybody's thought process in terms of, okay, now they're going to win with even harder competition and even better quarterbacks. And now you have to deal with money. In college, you kind of have to deal with it now with the NIL. Right. So I don't get all that, but I think the Raiders are moving in the right direction. I don't know, and we can get it going right now to the YouTube chat and 916-339-1140 on the text line as well. Will Jimmy G ever throw a pass in the NFL again? Over, under 5. We got to get to a break. The question is over, under 5. I will get Chris's answer and Nate's answer when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Got a drain that's clogged up? Or maybe a toilet? Or a faucet that just won't quit leaking? Kenny and Jerry are here from Bell Brothers, and we want you to know that it does make a difference which plumber you call.
At Bell Brothers, we respect your time by showing up when we say we'll be there. Our technicians are all background checked and drug tested, and will greet you with a smile.
They're trained to do the job right the first time, and they carry over 1,000 parts on their trucks, so they won't have to order something and then come back later.
They leave the work area cleaner than they found it, and your final bill will be the same as they quoted. That's why they call us the No Surprise Guys.
So if you need a plumber, it does make a difference who you call. Call Bell Brothers. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Nate Littlefield. These are your Sactown Sports headlines. Game 5 of the World Series is tonight. The Texas Rangers currently lead that series 3-1 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. First pitch for that game, 5:03 p.m. And the 49ers made a big splash at the trade deadline. They sent a third-rounder to the Washington Commanders for Chase Young. San Francisco is looking to bolster their struggling yet star-studded defense. And don't forget, all callers and all guests are brought to you by the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are the headlines. Now we get back to Stiles and Watkins.
Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. We are back. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Fifth official show. The day after Halloween. I don't think anybody still eating candy. Enjoy it.
Oh, for sure.
That's all. That's all you got. Akash Anavarathan, who covers the Niners. Very good follow on X or Twitter, whatever you're calling it, by the way, and Instagram as well. Will be joining us at 11 a.m. to break down all things Niners, the trade that never was, what the future looks like for the Niners, and all that jazz. So I kind of switched things during the break because I felt like throwing 5 passes in the NFL was a little bit ridiculous, okay? A little bit ridiculous, unfortunately. So I changed it. And I'm going to ask the questions now to Chris and Nate, and this is what I changed it to. Over under 7.5, Jimmy Garoppolo starts for the rest of his career.
That's a big change in
from 5 passes.
Yeah. I was going to take the over on the other one just for the record. For that one, 7.5.
Jimmy is 31 at this moment in time.
And banged up constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is quite the question. 7.5, huh?
7.5.
We can revisit because I did spring it on you. Just remember, there's a lot of bad quarterback play out there.
I'm gonna say he still gets a couple starts for the Raiders this year. I think that's on the table for sure.
Wow.
I mean, with a rookie guy, I mean, you never know. I don't even want to say the I word because I don't want to jinx anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I think he probably starts 2 more games for the Raiders this year. So, hey, man, screw it. I'll take the over.
Wow.
I'll go crazy.
I'm going to take the over, too.
I think you have to take the over just because of how bad
there's
certain
so many
quarterback
bad
situations are,
yeah,
right?
We're seeing Tyler Heineke start this week
right.
for Desmond Ritter.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, the best of those 2 options.
Right. And I don't know who's better between Baker and Jimmy, but the fact that it's a question means that somebody's going to somebody always needs a Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes, exactly. Whether it be the Patriots next year, that wouldn't surprise me. Like, he's obviously from that organization.
Right.
They are falling on quarterback issues as well. Wouldn't surprise me. I just think, it just feels like Jimmy's too good to not start.
But
like
that
you said,
was bad.
He is bad. He is bad. But like you said, he is.
You say
he's
Jimmy
at
is
that
bad. You said
Baker
he's
Mayfield
bad.
level where, like, if he's going to be on your team, he's going to be in competition for the starting quarterback. Unless he's like Josh Allen's backup or something like that. The second a quarterback has a bad string of games, they're going to look at Jimmy Garoppolo and say, why don't we play him? I mean, we just went through this in San Francisco.
You're a Vikings guy.
Yes,
they
sir.
just signed Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
Right.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. It actually is big.
And now with the Raiders benching Jimmy Garoppolo, what if the Vikings said, you know what, let's take Jimmy? Where you at on that?
They're not doing it. They're just not doing it. They're a lot smarter than that. They're not doing that.
Would you want them to do that?
No, absolutely not. Why on earth would I want them to do that?
They're starting over. Yeah, it's like, why get a 31-year-old guy? It doesn't make sense.
Well, that's what I thought with the Raiders, and they decided to do that as well.
But that's the Raiders.
Yeah. No. Hold on now. Hold on. The Raiders. We've been roasting the Raiders, but there are other organizations. The Browns. I would even say Gardner Minshew. The Minshew match has been gone.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if the Colts. Hey.
Maybe.
What if Taylor Heineke isn't good?
Richardson backup? Yeah, that'd be interesting.
There are a couple spots.
Yeah.
Well, now that the deadline's over, it's like next season's going to be fresh slate.
If
in regards though to Baker versus Jimmy, I think it's heavily offense dependent. Like depending on who's ever coaching, and because we've seen both of them work in different styles of offense. They play a different game.
Yeah.
What if Jimmy G replaces Derek Carr in New Orleans next year?
Come on, man. I can't do it with them. Leave Derek alone. And by the way, of course, everybody associated with Derek Carr was doing their victory laps last night all over social media. Darren Carr, Dave, all of these guys, right? All of his brothers and cousins and everybody. Let's not forget. Okay. Yeah, the Raiders messed up, and probably Derek Carr needed a better way out, right? A more respectable way out. But he was still pretty garbage when he was playing.
Yeah.
All right? Like, let's not get it twisted. They got it wrong after they moved on from you. They did not get it wrong moving on from you. Let's just get it straight right there. 916 right here talking about the Raiders say they can't afford Lincoln Riley. His contract is insane. Give me Brian Flores and let him pick a staff.
The Vikings defense is finally at an okay level.
No, he's got to go.
Keep him there.
He's got to go. So there's going to be a lot of fake news.
How about Eric Bieniemy? I don't know. He's probably lined up for that Washington job, if I had to guess.
Is he, though?
Probably not.
Is he, though?
Yeah, that's true. He's been lined up for
and you know where Ron Rivera's going to go? To the Raiders.
Honestly.
Del Rio's coming back.
No.
That's what I've heard.
No.
That's what I'm hearing.
No way. There is no.
That's the rumor.
There is no way.
There's going to be a lot of rumors.
There's no way.
There were going to be a lot of rumors, and there was a rumor going around yesterday towards the end of the trade deadline. Tim Kawakami had it first. He said the Niners aren't done, right? He said the Niners aren't done. A lot of conversation about who that was. Then a report came out from a Bears media member who said the deal was for Adoree Jackson.
The Giants. Yes.
The Giants.
Yes,
the Giants. We're talking Bears. The
Yes,
Giants.
yes.
So then that whole thing happens. We find out, oh, wow. And the Giants get roasted. They catch a stray because they didn't get their paperwork in on time. John Lynch comes out today in the press conference and says that report of the 49ers being close to a trade for the New York Giants cornerback Adoree Jackson was, quote, not true at all.
Okay. Well, that's not fun.
So I don't know what to do with that.
Well, I guess, I've got to believe him, I guess. I don't really know why he would, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why he would go out of his way to deny it, but that's unfortunate because I guess the deal didn't happen anyway, but it's just like I just still feel like in general the Niners probably should have made a second move for a DB.
The only reason I could see them, and it's not considered lying. He's just maybe stretching the truth or omitting some things, right?
Yeah.
You get hit up. Your wife or your lady asks you, "Oh, did you go out last night?" And you say, "Yeah." And you just, what time did you get back? Well, we got back. We got back when we got back. Just omit. It's not lying. You're just omitting.
That definitely
right?
feels like lying. That situation you laid out there definitely feels like you're hiding something.
I'll think of a better one. I tried to do it on the fly. You just omit certain things, right? You omit that you went to that second bar.
Yes, the second place,
the second bar that you went to. We went out, right? You didn't ask me.
The bar you're not allowed to go to.
Exactly. There you go.
Yes.
There you go. You didn't ask me how many bars I went to, so I didn't tell you, right? So John Lynch is saying it's not true at all. Maybe the at all is the kind of issue there, because where there's smoke, there's fire. It's hard for me to believe that the Giants just made this up.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
Or the reporter made it up. Yeah.
Or the reporter made it up. Now, in this age of clout,
who knows?
And I know everybody had that guy quote tweeted, and next thing you know, the national people are taking it, Schefter, Ian Rappaport. So maybe that guy stretched the truth, right? And now all of a sudden he has a banger of a tweet that goes off all day. So you never know what to believe. But to your point, John Lynch doesn't really have too much on the line to lie about, unless it's just about their culpability in it and them.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe they were the one who didn't get the
right,
call
and them feeling like it's kind of a bad look. That we weren't able to get this done. I know everybody is roasting the Giants, but it's kind of on us as well. So let's just say it was never going to happen.
Because it didn't happen. So there's no point in dwelling on it or even acting like it was in the realm of possibility.
Technically, it's not a lie.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't happen, then we can't prove that it's not true.
Because how many phone calls did John Lynch go through where it where conversations reach an advanced level?
What this reminds me of? Did you see that documentary? It's insane. The BS High one on Bishop Sycamore.
No, I didn't.
That got to play, that finessed their way into playing IMG Academy and all these teams. That guy is ridiculous. And he's telling people, he says, I don't lie I only lie if I know you can't prove it.
That is psychopathic.
If you haven't watched it, it is unreal. And to John Lynch's point, you can't. Nobody can really prove
that I'm telling the truth, or if I'm lying.
Unless the Giants were recording calls, which I'm sure is illegal.
Yeah.
So we'll never know. But ultimately, the Niners don't bolster up that back end, which I think most people would say was more of an issue.
I would say so.
But you go ahead and you get Chase Young, and a lot of people are happy about it. A lot of people are using the Thanos meme for the defensive line. I'm like, can you really use the Thanos meme if they haven't been getting pressure?
This is like the third time you probably could have posted the Thanos meme talking about the Niners defensive line.
They already filled up the glove.
The gauntlet's full.
Yeah, the gauntlet's full. You're just
full.
continuing to add people. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on there. We'll probably never know whether it was real or not. But what we do know is that they did get Chase Young, and people are very happy about it. Most are. Some are still questioning the decision. But when they're getting after Trevor Lawrence, as they should, I think we'll all feel much better about it. Got to get to a break. When we get back, it's another player podcast. And he's got something to say about a team that already beat them. We'll tell you who that is, and we'll show you what he said or tell you what he said when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
As a business owner, outfitting your van fleet with Mercedes Sprinter vans is just smart business. Mercedes Sprinters qualify for a remarkably generous IRS Section 179 tax deduction. This means you literally can save thousands in tax savings. Family-owned Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has a dedicated Mercedes van department with trained commercial vehicle experts ready to help you take on any job. See our selection of capable Mercedes vans at mbofstockton.com.
For 35 years, TruckSmart has been your local leader in truck accessories. Find racks, toolboxes, and lighting for your work truck, and trailer hitches, side steps, and bed covers for recreation. They have shells for work or play and offer Rhino lining, the best bed protection in the business. You like overlanding? TruckSmart has rooftop tents, recovery gear, and heavy-duty bumpers. Trust your ride to their skilled installers and expert sales staff at the Rockland and Auburn locations. TruckSmart. Your truck's gonna love them. TruckSmart.com.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-330-2929. That's 800-330-2929. 800-330-2929.
Have you ever heard that phrase, less is more? Well, at Harbor Freight, we're all about more for less, because we know you like to do stuff, to make stuff, to improve stuff. That's why everything in our stores, from miter saws to tool chests to cordless impact wrenches, is priced affordably. So get out there and drill, paint, and saw to your heart's content. We just ask that whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
We are back. Stiles and Watkins. Sactown Sports. The instrumental going here. 10 a.m., 2 p.m. Well, I already did drop some bars. What was that, last week?
Yes, it was. I think that was day one.
No, there wasn't. I don't think it was day one, because it was about the Drake, or it was about Steph and De'Aaron Fox wearing his shoes.
I'm trying to think what day that. Yeah, so I guess that would have been probably
a couple days in. It wasn't the 5th show, because that's what you're listening to right now, the 5th official show of Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports, 10 a.m.
How long are you going to be counting the shows?
Yeah,
for?
ask again. It'll go up again. Please keep asking. Keep asking. But we love you on the YouTube chat, holding it down. Thank you for the texts that we've gotten so far and the calls as well. Akash Anavarathan coming in here at 11 a.m. to talk all things Niners. And then at 11:15, we switch over to our Kings talk, getting you ready, getting you set for Warriors versus Kings that I will not be watching with Chris Watkins. I just can't do it. I can't do it. And I also can't do – I don't mind the player podcast. I don't, because I do think it brings another perspective.
New media.
Quote
unquote.
New media. We're I was going to say mid-media, but that's we don't want to be mid-media. We're not new. We're not old. We're kind of both. We're hybrid media, right? We're a hybrid media.
New media in an old media space.
That's right. That's right. So we're doing some different things. And, Micah Parsons is one of those guys that has a lot to say. He's got one of those podcasts. Yep. I don't know if it's from Bleacher Report or what.
So.
Even Travis Hunter has one.
Yeah.
He hasn't even left school yet.
Yeah, that's wild.
He hasn't even left school yet. So all these guys have podcasts now. I don't mind it. I think it brings another dimension. But Micah Parsons, can we relax? Yeah. Can we relax?
He's getting a little Draymond-y.
He's getting a little Draymond-y, and that's what people like. Yeah. That's why it does well, right? I think the least hot takey podcast that I believe is pretty legit is Podcast P with Paul George.
Yes,
I think that is a legit.
Everybody goes on that.
Everybody goes on
There's
that.
There's always
thing.
a soundbite from it.
Exactly, but it's not. It doesn't feel fake, and I'm not calling Micah Parsons fake. I'm just saying he needs to chill, because you still got beat, and I know they're feeling themselves after beating the Rams, but he's doing too much. Here he is talking about the Niners being humbled
football has a funny way of keeping people humble, right? And I'm not saying this is example for San Francisco. Everyone has to deal with these things in the NFL versus his injuries versus his adversity. I mean, I don't even think the Dallas Cowboys could survive 3 straight losses. It's not so much as it's Purdy, because a lot of people are saying it's Purdy. And it's always easy to blame the quarterback because when they were winning, it was always Purdy's the greatest. I just think San Francisco had to turn it around. They're battling adversity. I definitely think the 49ers will bounce back. They're a great team. I don't think we should bury them for their 3 straight losses. I think the 49ers humbled us, and I just think life humbled them. And it goes like that sometimes.
The life humbled them.
Is he a player? Is he a player or a coordinator or a talking head for the Cowboys? I'm so confused. Very confused at what I just heard.
I mean, for sure. Like, I don't know what else I expected him to say, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I wouldn't say the Niners have been humbled. They've humbled themselves or something.
Right. Well, maybe he's going back from the George Kittle thing, and they were feeling themselves. And then Debo, I think, had some things to see too. Some things to say too.
Sure.
But that has nothing to do. I mean, to me personally, Cowboys Niners is its own entity.
Yes,
it's its own rivalry.
Absolutely.
So to me, them being humbled as a team, to me is just separate than Niners Cowboys, because y'all still lost. And he did say, hey, the Niners
humbled us.
So I guess everybody is getting humbled. I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. And maybe this is get off my lawn, but you're talking about a team that you're probably going to play if you guys both get there in the playoffs, and Brock Purdy's doing this, and I don't listen to the whole pod. I'm sure he talks about Dak as well.
Does anyone listen to full pods of those things? Like,
I think it's just clips.
Everybody just
probably
consumes clips from all of these kind of new media shows.
Have you guys actually listened to him talk? It's when I have to cut like raw audio from him, it's tough.
No, I was trying to put together what he was even saying in that 15-second clip, and I was like, wait, okay, I think he's trying to say this and trying to
that they got humbled.
Yeah.
And they got humbled.
Yeah, literally. Like, I'm serious. I'm cutting out 3-second dead airs, and I'm cutting out. I do it a lot too, but it's pretty rough. But I just did it. That's how you. I mean, you got to learn somehow. I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
it's almost like he's a football player and not a.
Well, you know, but you're not listening. You're listening to it for the content,
for sure.
Right,
you're listening
not for his vernacular.
Exactly.
You know, and when I hear him talk about Brock Purdy and everyone's going to blame the quarterback and all these types of things, I don't know. Maybe I'm just still getting used to it, because it is different. It is different when you're talking like Paul George. From what I've heard, it's a lot of, and I would assume Michael Parsons has on guests too, but a lot of these player podcasts are talking about the game in general. They're not really breaking down their specific season and what's going on. They're talking about basketball as a whole. They're talking about football as a whole. So Michael Parsons is giving you play-by-play, which again, I think a lot of people do like.
Yeah, for sure.
I just think in that specific clip, I wasn't sure what he was trying to say besides that the Niners got humbled. Humbled would mean, in my opinion, humble would mean the Niners were being very braggadocious and doing different things.
Stomping on the star or something.
Right. I mean, George Kittle had something for you, and at that time they humbled you. They're not going, every team that they've played, and was that their last win?
Yes, it was.
So they haven't really had, I don't think George Kittle had a dog pound shirt ready to wear in Cleveland or something in a skull shirt and with the Vikings.
I better hope not.
Better not. So I think it was very specific. And look, he's just making content, and that's what he does.
Yeah, exactly. That's just hurt people, and that's all that is. Yeah. If anything, that clip tells me that the Niners are still incredibly present in the Dallas Cowboys' mind.
Yes.
That's what I learned from that clip.
Right.
Because I haven't heard the Niners mentioned once, even the fact that, like Dallas, we played Dallas, and they don't even talk about that Dallas game really at all. They don't use it as any sort of fuel or fire or anything like that to say, we're a great team. We beat the Dallas Cowboys. It's just crazy to me that it makes sense because the Niners really did humble the Cowboys, but I don't understand why they're so at front of mind for him. And I understand, I understand it's part of the podcast, and he's, like you said, he's breaking down other teams, but it just sounded really personal to Michael Parsons, which he said earlier in talking about Kittle.
It did, but here is how I would kind of flip this a little bit, because you have the Cowboys who, after that smack fest from the Niners, they go on to beat the Chargers 20-17. Then they go on to beat the Rams 43-20 with Cooper Kupp in the gang when the Niners kind of struggled against the Rams, divisional opponent.
Cooper
I get
Kupp.
it. Without Cooper Kupp. Then you have the Niners who have not won a game since they put the beat down on the Cowboys. So I don't think it's a matter of peaking too early. I don't know if it's a matter of humbling, but if it is a matter of humbling, I would make the argument that if I'm another team, if I'm the Eagles or if I'm the Cowboys, I maybe the Cowboys had their humble moment. We'll see what they do against the Eagles this weekend. But now you could say, and I hate to do it, but sometimes it makes sense, could this stuff, if all these teams are going to eventually lose, you would think the Eagles at some point, they already have, but if they lose again, they have a tough schedule still to the Niners. Could this actually be good for the Niners?
Yeah.
Like we talked about yesterday, if the Niners only lose 2 games, right, and let's say they're not in a row. Let's say they lose to the Browns, right? Beat the Vikings and then lose to the Bengals. Are they going out and getting Chase Young?
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. So this whole humbling thing, I think if you are another NFC opponent or even an AFC opponent, you should be worried that they got humbled.
Yeah.
Because now they're gonna treat this, because we know they're more talented. They're more talented than the Cowboys. I believe they're more talented than the Eagles. The Eagles have been playing better, right? So now you have a team that has a chip on their shoulder because they haven't played well. Now you have a team that has something to prove. Right. And before, the Niners, they didn't really have, they had something to prove, but they were rolling, right? And I think at that point, the vibes were too vibey a little bit, to Micah Parsons' point, and now they've gotten their gut punch. So what do? They got their gut punch, and other teams have just stood pat and didn't do anything. They got their gut punch, and they said, you know what? I'm not really tripping off a 3rd-round pick that we're going to get back. If Chase Young walks anyway, so we're just going to pay him, what is it, $900,000, $500,000, something like that, to get somebody that can take it over the top and try to get this number 6 Lombardi this season. So if anything, I would be worried that the Niners got humbled.
Too. Yeah, I think you're completely right. I mean, and they're coming off the bye, so it's like a total mental readjustment, a total mental reset as well. And yeah, I mean, what do they always say about baseball? And I would say it's also incredibly true about football. It's about peaking at the right time. Right. And it's not great to be, it's great that the 49ers showed who they can be those first 5 weeks, but it's also a whole lot more important that in week 16, 17, and 18, they're playing their best football, because you want to go into that playoffs where, who knows, maybe they'll have a 1st-round bye, maybe not, but you want to be as healthy as possible and playing your best football towards the end of the season. The beginning of the season is good because, again, it can establish, it establishes a floor, it establishes who you guys are as a team when you're at your best, but everyone's going to go through losing times. There's only been, 2 perfect regular seasons in NFL history. Everyone's going to pick up some losses at some point. Better now than later on in the year and really feeling going into the playoffs shaky. I'd much rather, if I were a Niner fan, I would much rather have this situation now. They hyper addressed any problems they had by bringing in Chase Young. And now, you got a bye week and you use this as like a 9-week sprint. You just went through 8 weeks and now you just got to finish off the season better than you started it. And they started it pretty damn well.
Yeah.
Like 5-3 is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah. On the YouTube chat, Rockin' New Era 84, I'd rather struggle now and figure things out versus the end of the season. Yeah. And they'll have a benchmark. They can always say, we know what we're capable of because we did this earlier in the season. That's how good we were. And another YouTube chat, BCH Custom Cabinetry.
Hey.
Hashtag the Frisco frauds. That's wildly disrespectful for so many reasons. First of all, if you're from the Bay Area, if you're from San Francisco, everybody hates Frisco.
Right.
If you didn't know, don't say Frisco. Don't say San Fran. Don't say either.
Yeah.
Right. So BCH is getting at Frisco in that way because you can't say Frisco, and you're calling them fraudulent.
I love that.
And you know what? My ticker's going off again. We got to get to a break. BCH, do we have another Raider fan? Is that a Raider fan? My ticker's going off again. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, Akash Anavarathan covering the Niners. It is great work. He's got a lot to talk to us about in terms of the trade and what's next for the 49ers. That's what's up next. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL?
Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
On December 9th, witness a mind-bending show like no other with The Clairvoyants Holiday Spectacular at Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville, featuring mind-reading, magic tricks, and illusions, with a special appearance from Mr. Coney Handini, the world's first mind-reading dog. Get your tickets now to see The Clairvoyants live, only at
Gold Country Casino Resort.
Must be 21 or older.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
The glory and the greatness are only a few days away. The 40th running of the Breeders' Cup World Championships at Santa Anita is finally here. The ultimate racing showdown that every owner, trainer, and jockey around the globe has in their sights. With $31 million in purses and awards, there's a lot at stake. But only the best will claim the coveted title of World Champion. Coverage begins Friday, November 3rd on USA and continues Saturday, November 4th on USA and NBC. Visit breederscup.com to learn more.
Hi, I can help whoever's next.
Cooper's Overnight Shipping Company has to deliver the goods.
Ship these gifts to your grandkids.
They need a logistics manager to keep the wheels turning.
126 packages going to Toronto, Tuscaloosa, Montreal, and Minneapolis. Oh boy.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
With over 100 years as a family-owned company, E.B. Stone's learned a few things about making plants grow. Start a healthy family hobby with indoor planting with E.B. Stone's Edna's Best Indoor and Outdoor Potting Soil to help your little plants grow into the perfect indoor plant for the kids and family to enjoy. E.B. Stone's Indoor and Outdoor Potting Soil is perfectly blended with all the important ingredients you need to create that perfect indoor and outdoor plant or garden. E.B. Stone, for the life of your garden. Visit ebstone.org for more gardening tips, products, and locations near you. Cooler temperatures mean it's time to reduce your outdoor water use. Water 1 day per week on Saturday or Sunday from November 1st through February 29th. Learn more about your home's watering schedule at sacwaterwise.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Nate Littlefield. These are your Sactown Sports headlines. Your Sacramento Kings are back. They're in the Bay to take on the Warriors again. De'Aaron Fox will not be playing for the Kings, and don't expect to see Trey Lyles either. Coverage starts right here on Sactown Sports, 5:30 p.m. with game night, leading up to tip-off with the G-Man at 7. And the 49ers made a big splash yesterday at the trade deadline. They sent a third-rounder to the Washington Commanders for Chase Young. San Francisco is looking to bolster their struggling yet star-studded defense. Don't forget, All callers and all guests are brought to you by the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are the headlines. Now we get back to the second hour of Stiles and Watkins.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
We are back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m., talking all things Niners, the trade deadline. We got Kings coming up, actually right after this segment, and we are joined by my guy, Akash Anavarathan, independently covering the Niners. Does a great job on social media. Don't worry, Akash, a little bit later, we'll let you plug because everybody needs to know what you're doing on X or Twitter or whatever you're calling it. Akash, how are you doing, my guy?
I'm doing fantastic. Appreciate you for having me there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, of course. So let's just get right to it. What are your thoughts on the Chase Young trade and really how the Niners approached this whole deal, the Chase Young trade that actually happened and the trade that never was?
So on the Chase Young trade, I think just if you look at it from a value standpoint, the 49ers give up a compensatory third-round pick, and they get Chase Young for the rest of the season. He's obviously a free agent at the end of the year. The 49ers have the opportunity to extend him, franchise tag him. Let's say he walks in free agency. They can earn a compensatory pick in 2025 back. So if you look at it purely from that standpoint, they're not necessarily giving up a ton of draft capital to get a proven edge rusher in this league, even if it's just for the rest of the season. He's only going to count for about $500,000 against the salary cap, so not costing a lot of money either. And he's been a really productive player this year. I think his pass rush win rate's around 25%. He's got, I think, like 5 or 6 sacks this season and racked up a ton of pressures within the top according to PFF. And obviously the injuries and the health of the knees are concerned, but he played on the talented defensive line and was electric this season. And I think the 49ers really need some help across from Nick Bosa. Of Greg Jackson, who was supposed to be, taking a step forward this season, Randy Gregory, who they traded for, and Cleveland Farrell, the first-round pick. They just haven't gotten a lot across from Nick Bosa, and I think they're looking to bolster that, which we knew was a concern coming into the season, and they do so by adding a former number 2 pick.
Akash, do you like just the process of doubling down on something that was clearly already a strength for this team, at least in terms of personnel, or would you have personally liked to see them maybe put more attention towards bringing in a DB or maybe some offensive line help or something like that, or is doubling down on that D line does that make a whole lot of sense to you?
I think I would have liked to see them go out and get defensive back as well. I think the struggle this season defensively that everyone's kind of been perplexed by, I just think it's the 49ers have just struggled to marry their pass rush and the coverage. I think, honestly, if you look at Nick Bosa or Javon Hargrave or Eric Armstead, I think those guys have individually been playing well. I just think when you marry that pass rush and what they've been able to do with what the 49ers have been doing on the back half of their defense, it just hasn't worked for whatever reason. And I think, obviously the 49ers decided to go ahead and address their pass rush and try to make it even better, right? But I think I would have liked them to see them go out and get a corner. And unfortunately, I just think a trade there wasn't available. You take a Jalen Johnson. I think he might have been a little too expensive, and then you added the contract negotiation or the extension talks. Probably made it a little difficult. And some of the other corners that were reportedly on the trade block, whether that was Kenny Moore from the Colts or the Dory Jackson Giants, just didn't necessarily work out. I think it's a little bit easier to go trade for a pass rusher than it is for a corner who's a little bit more scheme specific. And so I think that's the route that the Niners went. Unfortunately, I think, they're going to have to wait on Samuel Womack and Darrell Luter Jr., who's a rookie, to come back from injuries here hopefully soon, and then they'll have some extra competition at the corner spot. And I think the slot corner spot with Isaiah Oliver is probably the biggest one that they'll look to upgrade upon here with some of their in-house guys.
talking to Akash Anavarathan, independently covering the Niners, does a great job, whether it's words, voice, video. Akash, just to be more specific, because, yeah, when we started this season, that defensive line, that was not what a lot of people had circled as an issue. There's been a lot of talk about him. Is he getting double-teamed? Is he not getting double-teamed? He got the bag. Does he care as much? What do you think is wrong with Nick Bosa?
It's funny you ask me that because I specifically would try to go back last night and watch all of Nick Bosa's snaps against the Bengals. He played every single snap in the game, probably because I mentioned you they were going to do a bye and have some extra time to rest. And one-on-one against the tackle, I felt he was winning a lot of those battles. And Joe Burrow was just getting the ball out a half step quicker. And, Nick Bosa, I think he's the second highest edge defender according to PFF. I think he leads the league or second in pressures. Just that the sacks haven't been there. And I think that's more opportunity-based than I think it's, effort-based on Nick Bosa's part or, that he's lazy or he's, come into the season just not playing as well or, all kind of the narratives that are out there just because the team as a whole hasn't racked up sacks. I think if you just look at what Bosa's doing individually, I think he's played well. And I think the defensive line as a whole is being criticized. And I think partially that's because their run defense is below average this season, which used to be. You haven't been racking up how many sacks. So, and hopefully that changes over the second half of the season. I wouldn't necessarily attribute that directly to Nick Bosa. I just think whether it's the defensive scheme or whether it's the coverage and pass rush combination, it's whatever it is, it's just not working right now. And hopefully Steve will get that fixed during the bye. Depending where he's calling his plays from.
Akash, earlier this week, me and Alan did a little blame pie for what's gone wrong with the Niners so far during this 3-game losing streak. And then for them to go out and make this big Chase Young move, do you feel like when it comes to the excuses for why this team might not win a Super Bowl or why they might fall on hard times, do you think it feels like with this move, kind of all the excuses are kind of out the door now? Like it is truly, it should be a Super Bowl or bust?
I think the Super Bowl or bust kind of tag that's been given to the 49ers, I think it still holds true. I think it's the same as where we were in week 1. I just think over this 3-game losing streak, it's pretty simple. The 49ers are built a certain type of way. They're built to run the football, not lean on their quarterback, their young quarterback as much, and they've got the most expensive defense in the NFL, at least salary cap wise. And so they're going to lead the strengths of this team. And so Shanahan's comfortable. I think that the team's comfortable playing. They just haven't been in that game script these last 3 games. If you look at the Browns game, the Browns got out off to a lead early. Goes down, they're just not able to run the ball effectively. And they just didn't allow Brock Purdy to play as well. He just didn't have a good game throwing the ball. Then you look at the next 2 games, the Vikings and the Bengals, same thing. Right? The defense early on just couldn't enough stops. 49ers just could not run the ball. Brock actually played well in both of those games, I thought, for the most part. For 3 quarters, he was excellent. And then in the fourth quarter, when you needed Dallas, he just had and in fact, the games have according to how the team is built. And I think when you get Trevor Williams back, Sando back, Chase Young, with Justin Heatley, I think they'll just start to get back on track. I think the team that was 5-0 still in there. I just think they the last 3 weeks have just been hit in the mouth.
Akash, thanks so much, man. You've given us plenty of info. You're cutting out a little bit. Not sure where the issue is on your side or my side, but you've already given us plenty. So thank you so much, man. And we'll definitely have you on again. That was Akash Anavarathan, doing great work for the Niners. Follow him on social media. He's got a lot of things going on and just a lot of good information. I follow him when the game is going on because there's always a lot of things that you might miss as you're just watching it at the restaurant or your house or whatever you're doing. And Akash really does a great job to break all those things down. So thank you very much, Akash. And I thought the most important thing that I heard him say was about Nick Bosa and how he's actually playing pretty well. and the pressures have been there. He is affecting the game.
Right.
It's just not the literal sacks that we're used to seeing.
He's not getting all the way home, but I think, I'm sure there's a lot of advanced analytic stats that show that, getting pressure, obviously it's not as good as getting a sack, but it is still incredibly damaging to the quarterback in terms of, the completion percentage and just the ability to make throws when you're under pressure. So yeah, like he might not be getting the statistical, numbers for it in terms of, sacks, the hard number of sacks, but there's still importance put on from Nick Bosa. And, obviously you'd like to see the sacks come along with it when you're paying him the amount of money he is, but at least he's still having impact. And you would like to believe that with this Chase Young addition, one of those guys will get home. And, you can attribute maybe some of Drake Jackson's week 1, three sacks. Maybe, Bosa's actually responsible for 1.5 of them or something like that as well.
It's a similar, well, I know don't get mad at me, but it's that word that you use for your favorite player, Steph Curry, and the gravity thing. You know what I mean? So there's a part.
Absolutely.
There is a part of that as well. So I think that was really well said by Akash. Also the thoughts on Brock Purdy and how, the bottom line is that I think Brock spoiled everybody a little bit with how he's been playing. And now that he's falling back to earth, the bottom line is you're not paying him a lot of money. Your backup makes more money than your starting quarterback. Yeah. So when you put it like that, right, and the guy that you ended up sending to Dallas. Right. So when you put it like that, the guys that we are paying a lot of money to in Nick Bosa on the defensive side, and now Chase Young as well, even though you're not paying him that much money. But those guys, Hargrave, you're the ones that's supposed to step up. Debo, he's been out, but hopefully when he gets back, you're the one that's supposed to step up. George Kittle, you're the one that's supposed to step up because we already knew that there were going to be growing pains. We just knew they weren't going to be as many growing pains as there would have been with the dude in Dallas. We're calling Voldemort. We're not allowed to say his name. So I think that was a big piece of this as well. Too much is maybe being put on Brock. I think some of that is because of the Niners calling him the real deal and not really being clear enough about where Brock was. And maybe, to be completely honest, maybe they didn't know. Yeah. Right? He's doing things this season that he didn't do last season. So because you didn't see him do that, they knew stuff was going to happen. They knew he wasn't going to be perfect, but they did not know how exactly it was going to look. Because
when it was bad, what was bad going to look like? Was it going to be like 5 interceptions, or was it going to be like, oh, okay, he's taking calculated risks?
All we've seen is Brock playing well. So now we're seeing a bit of the other side of that. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, it's time. It's time to preview.
Let's do it.
Kings Warriors. It's Beam Team time. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open. Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met good feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I had terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the good feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the good feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet Store.
The Good Feet Store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We are back, Sactown Sports. Stiles and Watkins, thank you again to Akash Anavarathan with that great insight on the Niners, talking about the trade talk, the trade that never was, the secondary, Brock Purdy, and all that jazz. If you missed it, be sure to hop on YouTube and hop on our app, Sactown Sports, and you can check it out as well. And now it's time for some Kings talk. And the YouTube chat, why do y'all play with me like this? Why do y'all play with me like this? I'm here just minding my business. I say, it's Beam Team time, and Amid Rock says, thank goodness. Thank you for squashing the Beam regime. And Jess hops in as well. So now you've just reminded me to do it. Okay, yesterday you tell me to stop counting the number of official shows. So now we're going up to 15. If somebody else says it, we're going to keep moving up. And I did forget to say Beam regime, and now I won't forget for the rest of the day. That's what you get now.
Yeah.
So it's time to talk Beam Team.
Yep.
And we want to hear from you, 916-339-1140 from the Beam regime.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you. And
The
JaVale
baby
McGee, the baby Beamers, whatever you want to call it, JaVale McGee, you know, he's been a great addition to the team. He's that guy. We've talked about JaVale before. He's the guy who can get a little bit rowdy at the parties, and he's your friend that you got to take in spurts, in doses, right? You might not be able to do a whole weekend with JaVale.
Exactly.
And if you do, I'm probably not going to see you for another month.
Yeah.
But in spurts, great dude to hang out with. He brings a different vibe, a different energy. But, you know, I can only hang out with you maybe once for the weekend. I got you Saturday night.
Exactly.
You want to run it back Sunday? I got plans.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know what they are, but I got them. So he was on this is a former player podcast and All the Smoke with our guys. And he was talking about not just De'Aaron Fox's leadership, but also his defense.
Oh man, hell of a leader, man. He's a vocal leader, but he's more of he's gonna show you on the court what type of leader he is. And one thing I was surprised that, and I watch basketball, but I didn't really realize how good he is on defense. Oh my God. I'm trying to, because I'm on the second team, so when the second team play the first team every practice, I'm trying to hand it off. I can barely hand it off to the man he guarding because he's shooting the gap and it don't even look like he's gonna get to it. But he's so fast and he has great hands. So yeah, it was really impressive just being here every day and being able to see that stuff. De'Aaron Fox.
I love that. I love that. And De'Aaron Fox, swipe with the Fox. He's swiping those steals. He's got a couple already on the season. Obviously, he's not going to be playing tonight, but you know, JaVale also talked about his leadership and how he is not really a vocal leader. He does it, which is funny because who did he sign to? Another guy who's not much of a vocal leader as well. You know, there's just too many connections between one of your favorite players and your most loathed player. So I'm sure that's fun for you.
It's awesome. It's the best.
But Chris, I got to just keep it honest because we are an honest show. Stiles and Watkins, 5th official show. Thank you for joining. See you on the YouTube chat, and thank you for the calls and texts. Be a part of the conversation. And I got to keep Chris honest because we keep it real on this show.
Yeah, we try to.
We keep it real. And we're doing our pre-show thing. And I say, hey, Chris, I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good note. And you said something about what JaVale had to say.
Yeah.
What is it that you said, sir?
I said it's propaganda. That's what I said. I said this is just propaganda. That's all it is. I mean, it's look, like
you think he's capping?
I don't think he's capping, but I think that this is just there's this they're just really trying to push this De'Aaron Fox as a two-way player, like a two-way star narrative, like he's one of the 5 best two-way stars in the league. I'm not saying he doesn't have the potential to do it. He absolutely has the skill set. This is honestly more of like my rationale for what I say about Harrison Barnes. I kind of apply that same logic to De'Aaron Fox, where it's you have the speed, you have all of the capabilities to be not one of, but the best perimeter defender in the NBA with how quick you are. He's 6'4". He's not some 6'1" guard. He's got really elite size for that position. He can be an elite defensive point guard on top of what he does offensively. It's just we very rarely see it in games.
Right.
Like we see him pickpocket. We see him, get those swipe of the Fox steals every so often, but it's not locking people down. Like he'll get the numerical stuff sometimes, but more times than not, this season he's been better at it than I've seen him before. But just the defensive effort every single time isn't there. There's definitely a flip that switches come fourth quarter time. That's definitely there, but too many times I've heard more specifically about De'Aaron Fox, but also this Kings team defending in practice, but not defending in game. And that's more where I'm saying this is propaganda. It's great. I keep hearing about how great the Kings look, how physically they play defensively in practice. I just haven't seen it enough in game. And until I start seeing it in game, I kind of don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, and I will say
been there. Again, it's been there. It's just it hasn't been in your face like, oh my gosh, De'Aaron Fox, defensive superstar.
Well, and the other thing is steals aren't really a good barometer.
It's not at all.
For good defense.
Yes,
obviously,
Allen Iverson used to lead the league in steals all the time.
And Steph did too, right? Steph always got steals. So it is a part of defense, but it also means that you gamble a bit.
Yes.
Right? And when you're gambling, what it doesn't show, is there a stat for missed steals? Because that should definitely be a stat. Because how many times do you try to do that, you miss, and then you get cooked?
Right.
Right? So for all of the times that you do get it, the times where you don't get it, that's not so great because most of the time that leads to a bucket. But I wouldn't say JaVale is capping. I think is literally what he's talking about in terms of up there at the point of attack, De'Aaron Fox is able to shoot those gaps. Sure. But in terms of lateral movement and locking down a defender and not allowing the defender to get past you, that the one-on-one defense, great. So
that's more what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so the one-on-one defense probably not where it should be quite yet, and he's still young in the game. But the getting through screens, which is still very important. You got to start somewhere. Because I tell you what,
playing against a Warrior team.
Because I'll tell you what, talking about JaVale McGee, who used to be Mr. Shaqtin' a Fool, now it's gotten handed over to Jordan Poole, who's the new Mr. Shaqtin' a Fool. He was on Shaqtin' a Fool about 3 different times in this last episode because he wasn't even getting steals, right? So there's something to be said about the levels of defense, and at least De'Aaron Fox, he's not in the basement.
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
Okay, here's a good question for you. Is De'Aaron Fox a better defender or 3-point shooter?
Oh my gosh. Defender. I had to think about it.
But he's been hot from 3.
For 2 games. For 2 games. He's shot well from the perimeter. The man hasn't shot, I don't think he's shot above 34% from 3 in his career. I feel like it would be disrespectful to his if that would mean if his defense was worse than his 3-point shooting, that would mean that he would be a negative defensive player. And I wouldn't say he's a negative defensive player.
He's middle. Would you call him middle of the road?
Yes, but I would say that's a problem. I would say he shouldn't be middle of the road. He should be in the good to great to possibly even elite category.
Okay.
He has the tools to do it. I mean, he just got voted by GMs this offseason as the fastest player with the ball in his hands.
Right.
He's incredibly fast, but it's for some reason it's not translating to lateral quickness.
Yes. And it's something that is going to continue to happen. He's going to continue to get stronger, right? He's going to continue to understand who he's going against, and maybe it's not always about I'm gonna check the best guy, right?
Because his offensive load is ridiculous.
Exactly.
Like, to expect him to be world's best defender while still putting up 35 points is just not realistic.
Well, yeah, and they call football the best team sport or the ultimate team sport, but I think basketball is right up there as well.
Absolutely.
As well as baseball. I think they all are, but I understand why people do say football, because if Keegan Murray starts to really ball out and takes that next step and takes away that offensive load from De'Aaron, now all of a sudden De'Aaron can guard the other team star because he's not being asked to put up these crazy numbers. And against the Warriors, he had 28 field goal attempts. Nobody wants that. So it's all connected. If other guys step up in other ways and lessen the load for De'Aaron, that can really, really help as well. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, really, people, you either love this guy or you have other feelings for him. He was on our airwaves yesterday on the Drive Guys, 2 days ago, talking about the Kings and what they got going on and their defense and De'Aaron Fox. So we will tell you what he said and we will react to it. More of your calls, more of your texts, more of your chat when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
For 35 years, TruckSmart has been your local leader in truck accessories. Find racks, toolboxes, and lighting for your work truck, and trailer hitches, side steps, and bed covers for recreation. They have shells for work or play, and offer Rhino lining, the best bed protection in the business. You like overlanding? TruckSmart has rooftop tents, recovery gear, and heavy-duty bumpers. Trust your ride to their skilled installers and expert sales staff at the Rockland and Auburn locations. TruckSmart. Your truck's gonna love them. TruckSmart.com.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Players know it's not just because you win more, it's because of everything else at Gold Country Casino Resort, where players roll in and winners are made. Winning isn't the only thing on the menu, and nightlife, it's more than entertaining. Drinks and dining options are abundant and guaranteed to satisfy your innermost desires. Come be our guests and see why Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville is where the players play.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number one claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own lawn report.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of thousands of customers every single day. Learn how you can leverage their reach for your business. Text digital to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text digital to 916-766-5105.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Nate Littlefield. These are your Sactown Sports headlines. Your Sacramento Kings are back. They're in the Bay to take on the Warriors again. De'Aaron Fox will not be playing for the Kings, and don't expect to see Trey Lyles either. Coverage starts 5:30 p.m. with game night. Scott Marsh, Henry Turner leading up to tip-off 7 p.m. with the G-Man. Game 5 of the World Series is tonight. The Texas Rangers currently lead that series 3-1 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. First pitch, 5:03 p.m. Don't forget, all callers and all guests are brought to you by the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are the headlines. Now we get back to Stiles and Watkins.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
We are back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. Talking about some defense. Defense wins championships. Is that still true? Does defense win championships?
I don't think so. I think offense wins championships.
Did it ever?
Sport.
Did defense ever win championships?
2000 Ravens, 85 Bears.
Yeah. I would say like the early 2000s is when that stopped. Like, even in basketball, it's like, that 2003 Pistons team.
For
exactly.
Sure, for sure.
I mean, there's always like a baseline that you have to reach. And I think we learned last year that with the Nuggets winning that you have to be at least top 15 in defense. So do you have to have a great defense or a good defense to win? No, but you can't be an actively bad defense and win.
Right.
Like even the Chiefs had to have a baseline of,
Chris Jones
and
Marcus
Frank Clark,
Peters. Yeah.
Marcus Peters.
The Honey Badger.
Exactly. Like even with Patrick Mahomes, you have to have something.
Is Honey Badger still playing?
I believe isn't he on the Saints?
Yeah.
Is he still on the Saints?
3 weeks
he
ago.
was young when he's still not like that old. I think he's around 30, I think.
Yeah, I remember
he might
and
not
Honey
even
Badger being around the same age.
Yeah.
He is 31 years
old.
old.
Yeah. So it feels like he's been in the league for 50 years.
Yeah.
It really does.
That's so crazy.
Remember when it was the fake weed? Do you remember that?
No. What?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. It was synthetic weed.
Oh, from like a smoke shop or something?
Yeah,
how they do that to trick 18-year-olds?
Right. Well, I guess he thought,
or is it spice?
He thought he thought it wouldn't show up.
Yeah.
On the drug test, but the drug test it showed up,
Oh.
and that knocked down his stock a little bit, and he still got in, but because there's LSU's finest, right?
Oh,
And
he was ridiculous.
He's got a Super Bowl.
He got the Honey Bowl, the Honey
The Honey Bowl, baby.
Badger
The Badger Bowl.
The Badger Bowl. In the Badger Bowl, he got the Honey Badger nickname in college. Like,
right. No, he was that guy, and and that was around the time I think as well where defense was really important, even in college.
Yeah.
Those were LSU, Alabama. Didn't they? Someone won
First
6-3, right, or something?
Yeah, Ryan Perrilloux is quarterback.
Is defense more important in the NBA or the NFL for winning a championship?
Definitely
Probably
NFL.
Yeah.
NFL.
But like you said, you need that. I think, I think there's an argument, but I don't know. Something I got to sit on.
It's tough because like the Kings were never going to win a championship last year.
Right.
Like that was just never. There was no way. The Kings literally had the best
Elite.
historical offense in NBA. Like a historically great offense.
Mm-hmm.
Got eliminated the first round.
It's not about how good it is; it's how important it is. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, differentiate the two.
I think it's really well. First of all, if we just take a step back, where did this all start? Right when defense wins championships, what sport was that supposed to be for?
Football, right?
I would have guessed basketball.
Really?
I have no idea.
Football
I would have
gets
guessed like the 80s
football gets
Pistons.
everything.
Yeah.
Football is king, but so football got defense wins championships. Football got game of inches, and football got ultimate team game.
It's like what? And baseball got nothing. Like none of this applies to baseball, right? How important is defense in baseball?
I don't know.
Seems like one of those
It's just
I don't
important
know.
to make correct plays. I think the difference is in football if you can make like sacking the quarterback, interceptions, those things
Splash
can
plays.
the splash plays care the most. In baseball, it's very rare where that dive that saved a no-hitter or the championship. The chances of that happening are much
It's more
lower.
about just being clean.
Yeah, just don't mess up.
Yeah.
There's no translation for sacks and interceptions to the NBA, right? Like, what is that?
Steals and blocks, I guess.
But those do not have the same value as a sack. Sacks and interceptions are game-changing, game wreckers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If you're looking at the individual stats, I think it's quite the
I guess it
interesting
would be
comparison.
NFL just because turnovers are so like if you look at who wins the turnover battle at the end of football games, I would say 90% of the time the team that wins the turnover battle wins the game. And in basketball, I don't know, it's probably like 70% maybe of the time. Like it's just not as it's not as detrimental to turn the ball over like the Warriors. The Warriors literally have like led the NBA in turnovers over the past 10 years.
Get back.
But they keep winning because I mean
they hit 4 threes in 30 seconds, and you're like, oh,
erased.
That was a worthless 10.
Because you can maximize possessions in basketball. Also, if you play at a fast pace, it won't matter how many turnovers you have if you just maximize the amount of possessions and maximize the amount of offense on those possessions. But in football, there's a limited amount of possessions. So if you turn over the ball, you're not going to be able to create extra possessions out of nowhere just because, you run. I don't know. I guess you can do 3 and outs.
Right.
It's not productive.
Right. It's not the same. Patrick Hubison on the YouTube chat says, are you great at making a stop when it matters, which I think goes across the board because it's in basketball and bringing it back to the Kings, they weren't. The Kings could not get a stop when it mattered last season, and we're hoping that things will be different this season. So we have the team defensive rating right now. They're 21st, and it's still early, as Chris told me during the break. They were 5th a day ago.
Yes.
Right. So this stuff is
it
fluctuating a lot right now, but they're 21st in defensive rating, 9th in offensive rating, giving a net rating of 12th, which is still early.
Yeah.
It's still early. It's still early. So, I think, I think the ability for them to continue to improve. And as Kendrick Perkins, who was on our airwaves 2 days ago with the Drive guys, Whitey and Draper, he says that he thinks that they will only get better the more that they continue to play together and the more that they continue to buy in. 916-339-1140. Let's get to the phone lines. Let's go to Steven, who wants to talk Kings defense. What's up, Steven? You're on Stiles and Watkins.
What's good? Good morning, boys.
Good morning.
How's it going, Chris and Alan? Okay, so to get on your conversation about like defense wins championships and stuff like that. So like, back in the day when the Rams were we're talking early Rams, late 60s, early 70s. They had the fearsome foursome with Merlin Olsen and all the other guys. You had the steel curtain. So back in like the 60s and 70s, especially the 70s, defense was prime. Defense was key, absolutely key. So personally speaking, I kind of feel like that's where that kind of stems from. So to follow up, on you guys, to kind of ride those coattails a little bit. I do feel like it does come from football, but I mean, you had a lot of heavily defensive basketball teams as well back then as well. So I feel like that saying kind of carries and goes kind of goes for different sports and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because defense was just absolutely crazy back in the day.
Right.
I mean, you had Ray Nitschke and you had Green Bay, you had the Steel Curtain, Pittsburgh, you had everybody. Man,
purple people eaters, please.
Absolutely. One more time.
Can I get the purple people eaters thrown in there?
Oh, purple people eaters. Let me give them some shout out too, man.
Steven.
The purple people eaters were a problem. They were an absolute problem. You know what I'm saying? Then you had Drew Pearson from Dallas. I mean, defense was an absolute premium. Was the cream of the crop back in the day. Today, not so much anymore. I do agree with that. So thanks, guys. I just wanted to catch up on that little conversation you guys had. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Steven.
Thanks for the call, Steven. Yeah, I think football has obviously changed and all the old school players. And all these old school players, they're just always mad about something. Basketball, it's not the 80s, and football, they're playing flag football. So they always have something to say. But yeah, I think the football piece is really important because it is so offensively driven, and that's
sure.
It's more aesthetically pleasing. I'm sorry.
I mean, it really is.
I
would much rather watch Patrick Mahomes throw the ball everywhere.
Even with Taylor Swift, those Swifties, they would not say if we were watching the games back then. They'd say, we love you, Taylor, but I don't even think Taylor would be there. Taylor is not watching that.
No.
She's not watching that.
She's not watching her boy get 4 receptions for 45 yards.
No, nobody is doing that. On the text line, taking it to baseball, the 5-3-0 last night, 5 unearned runs in the World Series game, and we'll talk about that. Yeah, that was a crazy game. The Texas Rangers, they were up big, 11-0, and then the Diamondbacks tried to come back. They get about 5 runs, so that was a complete mess. And to piggyback off that, Dwayne Baker is saying, if pitching is defense, defense wins championships in baseball. That's true.
That's very true. That's
Madison
a great
Bumgarner
point.
on line one.
Exactly.
Who, by the way, if the Diamondbacks do figure it out,
will he get a ring?
Yeah. He was on the team at the beginning.
So, yeah.
You would have Bumgarner getting the ring, and I don't think Longoria got one. That was after the Giants had kind of chilled out.
Right.
That was after
he
2014.
got one in Tampa Bay, though, didn't he?
I don't believe so. I believe they lost.
Oh,
they
right.
went.
Yes, that's right. They went and they lost.
They went. So, defense definitely is very important.
Yeah,
and Kendrick
sure.
Perkins thinks that the Kings defense will only get better just through vibes, I guess, and just understanding roles better. Right. Hard to be worse. Right now they're 21st, but we're only 3 games in for the Kings, 9th in offensive rating. We know that's going to climb. That's going to climb, we assume. Yeah. The question is, will the defensive rating continue to climb as well? And we have some power rankings to get into as well with the different media outlets and how they feel the Kings have been doing and where they fit in. Got to get to a break, but when we get back, Davion Mitchell will be replacing De'Aaron Fox. What can we expect from him and the rest of the Kings team? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out. Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Model year end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Guys, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making you this guarantee. We will improve the medical condition of your ED or low T, or we'll give you your money back. Book your free appointment today. Call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins taking up to 2 p.m. as we get real purple up in here. Talking Beam Team.
Okay.
Talking Kings, talking Warriors. Kings with no De'Aaron Fox, and in his place, Davion Mitchell will get the starting spot. Colby Jones now has moved to the second unit. So this will be very interesting. We don't know how long De'Aaron Fox will be out, but we do know what Davion Mitchell brings to the table.
Yeah.
And he will be tested today and in a big way because Steph Curry, that bad man, has been doing some bad things. If you are not a Golden State Warriors fan, and we know what he did to the Kings just on Friday, it's going to be a very, very I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game because, honestly, I do think that the Kings want their get back. Okay, I think Malik Monk feels like he could have played much better against the Warriors. And also, I think the Warriors, this is a classic from being a guy doing radio in the Bay. This is a standard ops game where the Warriors
they throw it.
Throw it.
Yeah.
They could still win it because they got Steph Curry, but they will not come to play immediately.
Yeah.
And
they'll play down to the competition.
Yes. They will say no De'Aaron Fox. They'll tell themselves that they're not going to do that, and then they will still do that. So I anticipate that this is going to be a very good game. Davion Mitchell starting. Obviously, he's not going to try to play outside of himself, and I'm sure Mike Brown has said, don't do that. That's not what we want you to do. But what should we expect from him in this starting role?
Yeah, I mean, Mike Brown, like you said, he kind of already mentioned what he doesn't want to see from Davion, and that's more just you don't need to go out there and be De'Aaron Fox. I think the exact quote that Mike Brown used, and it's a great one, is you don't just replace all-stars. Like, you don't replace all NBA caliber guys. Like, that's absolutely no shade to Davion Mitchell, but what De'Aaron Fox does for this team can't just be replaced by anybody, let alone, Davion Mitchell, but he's just got to go out there and do what he does well. And again, not try and go out there and be De'Aaron Fox. Go be Davion Mitchell and go make your imprint known on this game how you know best on the defensive end.
Right.
Now, is it going to be okay if Davion Mitchell scores 2 points and is 1 of 8? No, obviously they need some offense from him, but they don't need him scoring 20. They really only need him to get double figures would be great. Just again, if he's going to be out there for 30 minutes, be an offensive threat, make them at least respect your jump shot, respect that you might drive the lane. That's really all I'm looking for from Davion is defensive effort for the entire time he's out there, which shouldn't be a problem. And just some offense, just showing that he's a weapon out there, and he's got the capability. His shots look much improved this year.
Do you expect him to maybe not be? I guess is there a difference between shooting more and being more aggressive? Because I don't know that I expect him to necessarily seek out his shot more, but in spots where he might typically pass it because he's on the second unit.
Right.
Do you expect him to maybe take those shots because he kind of has to?
That's I think now, will it be like, oh, Davion's really forcing it? I don't think so. But to your point, like, I think he might seize opportunities that he wouldn't previously. Like, it's just, again, because he has to establish himself as a threat. Like, you can't be in that starting lineup and not score the ball or not facilitate either. Like, he can't just be a guy that you put in the corner and say, yeah, we're just gonna hide him there offensively.
Right.
He's got to show that he's a part of the system as well. And I don't really have too many issues with Davion taking shots. Again, I think his jump shot looks improved this season. This could be a really good opportunity to see that on a grander scale, on a bigger sample size.
Right.
But I wouldn't expect him to take more than 10 shots. Like, if he takes more than 10, that would feel aggressive to me. But at the same time, he's really good at figuring out where to pick and choose his spots. I've never really thought that Davion searched for his offense much. And I think it's just because, again, he knows very well who he is and what he's good at. And he also recognizes his teammates are a lot better at some of those things than he is. And I respect that about him, that he's not, too proud to say, no, like, I'm a point guard. Don't give the ball to Malik Monk. Like, let me run the show. He's more than willing to be a great teammate, and I feel like that part of things kind of gets pushed to the side when it comes to Davion. But I really do expect him to take this opportunity and run with it, because he's been asking for it. I mean, he's well aware that De'Aaron Fox is a certain caliber of player, and he's not going to get minutes over him. But I'm sure Davion still believes that he's a starter quality player, and this is a great opportunity to show it.
Well, everybody on that team should feel like that.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. You got to have that competitive nature. And the other thing about Davion being more active offensively is that I would assume, I don't know if you take it as disrespect, because if you take it as disrespect, then you're disrespecting Steph's defense. But I would guess that if Davion starts on Steph is probably going to guard Davion just because of offensively, they normally try to hide Steph a little bit.
Yeah.
So I would say, Davion, you got to go at Steph. I know he's one of the best conditioned players in the league, if not the best, but you got to at least tire him out a little bit so he's not just chilling and getting ready to cook on offense, right? So I would say you got to put him in some action.
That's a great point.
You got to do some things.
Him out. Yeah.
Try to tire him out. Just run him through some screens, switch off him. But the one good thing about having Davion start is, my goodness, we will not, I hope not too much, we will not have to see Kevin Huerter on Steph. I don't need to see that today.
No, I would. That's a great point. I wouldn't think that you would see a single second of it.
Well, I would, honestly, you might convince me to go watch the game with you after golf. If we're watching and Kevin Huerter checks Steph, at that point, I will ask for the check and leave.
Yeah.
I would say, you know what? I think I've seen enough here, but if Davion's on him, I think he can at least, it's just like on NBA Street. You can't stop him. Yeah. You can only hope to contain him.
Exactly.
If Davion is able to just contain him and keep Steph, kind of
just make him work for it.
Just make him work for it. And you get something from Keegan and you get something from Kevin Huerter, who keeps on moving in the right direction. And maybe this is finally that revenge game we've been waiting for from Harrison Barnes against his old team.
Man.
If you put all that stuff in the pot, you could get a W, because on the Warriors side, as we've mentioned, they're struggling to find a closing lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Wiggins has been Casper the Friendly Ghost, as he's done before, and they've had to go with Kuminga.
Yeah.
They're already throwing, and I see you, 916. We're going to get to you, trust me, because I know Chris is going to love this, talking about hot takes and trades, a trade generator. They already got Andrew Wiggins in the trade generator again. I mean, time moves quick.
Yeah.
Because the
especially
other thing,
in the NBA.
especially in the NBA, because the other thing about it is that Wiggins, don't forget now, and I don't know if anybody knew this out here, but Wiggins and Jordan Poole were boys. They were boys.
Yeah.
They were boys. So when everything went down with the punch heard all around the world, us in the Bay, we were trying to figure out what is going to happen there, because Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins were boys, and Dante DiVincenzo, they were all boys.
Right. It
Two
felt
of them
like
are
it
gone.
was a younger versus older thing with that team.
Two of them are gone. Okay, and now you have Andrew Wiggins not playing at the same level with a very tradable contract. So they got some issues over there that the Kings could expose, because the Kings don't got that. We added a Vezinkov, and he got that thing ready. Okay, he's got the quick trigger on him, and he can get that lefty shot off whenever he wants. He's doing some things. We're rounding out our situation, and we got Malik Monk, who isn't scared of anybody, talking about the dogs on the team. So, don't look now, but I would expect, and I think they opened up at 7.5, the Warriors did, at home.
That's crazy.
I'm not trying to be a homer. The 510 that hit us up a couple days ago saying I'm trying to be a homer. I am not, okay? I would just say that I expect the Kings to take advantage of a Warrior team that might not be on the right gear, okay? Right. Because they know De'Aaron's not playing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's what this league is about, is taking advantage of teams that if they are going to overlook you, you have to be able to take advantage of them on that night. And I feel like this is a situation where the Kings aren't being given enough credit. If they are 7.5 point underdogs, that's ridiculous. I mean, again, the Kings,
but it's De'Aaron,
they're so incredibly comfortable playing in Chase Center after that series. They win 2 games? No, they only won 1 game in Chase last year, but still had a couple really good performances there. I think, if anything, this is like the most, if De'Aaron is going to be out, this is the most ideal situation for Sacramento to go against. It's an incredibly familiar opponent. They don't have to do a lot of, catching Davion up on what exactly he's going to look at or what he's going to see tonight. He's already seen it all. The Kings, again, just as a team, are incredibly familiar in that environment. It's not that far of a drive. They're right near home. I think that this is a great opportunity for the Kings to make a statement too, because there's still a lot of hype around the Warriors. They're 3-1, I think, to start this season. So people narrative-wise are still really high on them. When the Kings beat the Lakers on Monday, I heard a ton of people using, the Kings were able to beat a Laker team that we're all expecting to make some noise. So if they can beat this Warrior team without De'Aaron Fox on the road, I mean, and by the way, the Kings were fantastic on the road last year. That was a huge storyline throughout the entire year. So if they can beat Golden State without De'Aaron on the road, I think that it's full steam ahead. I think that's a great way of redeeming the first loss of the season. Like, I think that it would be just a really good launch point, because let's not forget the Kings do have a light schedule finally after this game on Wednesday. They got the back-to-back against the Rockets, and then they played the Blazers as well. So this could be a really good launch point for this team without De'Aaron.
Right. You never want to see De'Aaron go down, but just as Chris said, that timing kind of couldn't be better, but you still have to take advantage. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Wemby versus KD battle, just to say you cannot just roll the ball out on any given day in the Western Conference. But if the Kings put their best foot forward, they should be able to take care of business. Got to get to a break. When we get back, we'll talk about just how important this specific game is and sound from Mike Brown on what they'll miss from De'Aaron Fox. All that when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
It's amazing how a short drive can make an incredible difference when you buy a Mercedes-Benz. Family-owned Mercedes-Benz of Stockton invites you to take advantage of a special certified pre-owned Mercedes finance rate of 3.09% for up to 36 months. October is a great month to consider buying a pre-owned Mercedes. See why our customers come back year after year, generation after generation. Your best Mercedes-Benz car buying experience ever awaits you at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, mbofstockton.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
The 49ers Report, brought to you by EB Stone. EB Stone, for the life of your garden. Not much went right for the red and gold in Week 8, losing their 3rd straight game of the season, 31-17. Cincinnati quarterback Joe Burrow was cooking early, throwing for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. Running back Joe Mixon also got involved, going for 87 yards on the ground. His lone touchdown put the exclamation point on the visitors' victory, walking in from 5 yards out late in the 4th quarter. The 49ers entered their bye week at 5-3, dropping to 2nd in the NFC West.
With over 100 years as a family-owned company, EB Stone's learned a few things about making plants grow. Start a healthy family hobby with indoor planting with EB Stone's Edna's Best indoor and outdoor potting soil to help your little plants grow into the perfect indoor plant for the kids and family to enjoy. EB Stone's indoor and outdoor potting soil is perfectly blended with all the important ingredients you need to create that perfect indoor and outdoor plant or garden. EB Stone, for the life of your garden. Visit ebstone.org for more gardening tips, products, and locations near you.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Gibby to Weber down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a 2-hand rip. A brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Nate Littlefield. These are your Sactown Sports headlines. Your Sacramento Kings are back. They're in the Bay to take on the Warriors again. Fox will not be playing for the Kings, and don't expect to see Trey Lyles either. Coverage starts at 5:30 p.m. with Game Night, Scott March, Henry Turner, leading up to tip-off with the G-Man, 7 p.m. And the 49ers made a big splash at the NFL trade deadline. They sent a third-rounder to the Washington Commanders for Chase Young. And San Francisco is looking to bolster their struggling yet star-studded defense. And then you have Game 5 of the World Series tonight. The Texas Rangers currently lead that series 3-1 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. First pitch, 5:03 p.m. Don't forget, all guests are brought to you by the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are the headlines. Now we get to the second half of Stiles and Watkins.
Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins taking up to 2 p.m., 2 more hours. First two have flown by. You know what they say? Time flies when you're having fun.
Never heard that before.
Yeah, I know you haven't.
No, I swear.
Chris and I got a tea time here, 2:39. We got a lot on the line.
Yeah, we got to play for something.
Yeah, we got to play for something. Play for keepsies. I don't know. We'll play for something.
Maybe like for something that has to do with the show or something.
Yeah. If I win, which I probably won't. Well, we're gonna talk. We got to talk because I got the Achilles.
Yeah, you are literally. You have a
lot of people are worried about. I am a handicap.
You have a handicap.
A lot of people are worried about me golfing today.
I'm worried.
You're worried. We're gonna be fine.
I'm just afraid you're just gonna swing out your heels. And then you're literally gonna swing out.
I got the tempo right.
Okay,
we're gonna be fine, and hopefully the Kings will be fine tonight. But Greg Bacage Jr. on the YouTube chat doesn't think so. Here's Greg. If you guys really think that the Kings have a chance of winning tonight, you're in denial.
Okay.
So I don't know if Greg is a double agent as a Warrior fan hanging out, or if Greg is just, there are more pessimistic Warrior or Kings fans out there.
Sure.
You always have that friend that thinks your team's going to lose every game.
Every time.
That might be Greg, or Greg.
I would like to show you the Spurs-Suns result from last night if you think anything's a guarantee.
Nothing is a guarantee.
I can just go down the list of results this year that have happened that you just wouldn't have expected. But yeah, I mean, anything can happen any night in the NBA, and this is definitely not far-fetched at all.
No, I don't think it's far-fetched because I think that, again, the Kings, that offense is still, I would call it elite even without De'Aaron Fox. Yes. And there's something to be said about that. But to Greg's point, a lot of things do have to go right and or wrong for the Kings to get it done. And I would say one of those big things who we haven't talked about as well is Sabonis, right? That's a guy who's really going to have to continue to make his presence known in those situations. So when we know De'Aaron Fox won't be playing, and here's Mike Brown going on to talk about.
I mean, shoot, first of all, any of our players from Trey to Foxy to whoever it is, you don't ever want to see anybody, hurt or wood. And so that's tough. But obviously, you guys were starting to see a little bit of what he's been working on, because we all knew he was the fastest thing in the game of basketball. We all know that he can score in the paint with the best of them. He's got a nice little midi, nice little floater. But his three-point shot, he was taking the right ones, and it was really effortless. I don't think he shot it well in the first game, but the last two games, and I don't even know what his percentage is. I just know it seemed like it was going in more than he was missing. But it's an effortless shot. He's shooting at the right time and the right way, and if he keeps hitting those at the right time, teams are going to have to go over his screens instead of under his screens, which is going to even open up the game that much more for him. But what I also like is his defense on the ball and off the ball. He's getting better because he's more engaged, and he's starting to show his strength, athleticism, quickness, and intelligence on that end of the floor, especially when it comes to guarding the pick and roll.
So that's what.
That's all about De'Aaron.
Well, that's two things.
Oh my goodness.
That's two things. That's two people now. JaVale, and Mike Brown, but Chris Watkins doesn't think De'Aaron's defense
sounds like messaging, doesn't it? Or what's another word for targeted messaging?
Oh my goodness. Just stop.
Propagation.
Okay.
Greg Papa something. Something. I don't know.
Popovich?
Yeah, Greg Popovich. That's what.
Just stop. Propaganda. Sure. That's fine if that's what you think. I'm telling you right now, De'Aaron is going to get there.
Yeah.
He's going to get
there. I hope
there.
so. I just want to see it. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not
but
saying
I think he's on the way, but he's not on the way right now because he's not going to be on the court.
It'd be tough to do.
And we're going to have to see who the Kings really are and who's going to step up during this time. We've talked about blame pie. This could be a De'Aaron Fox's missing pie, right? And what are the percentages of who you think should step up and who you think has to do more with De'Aaron out? And honestly, I'm going, I don't know. I think between Keegan and Sabonis, that's about 60% of the pie right there.
That's what I would say. Yeah, I mean, your two best players, the two other best players need to step up. That's the easiest thing to happen. I mean, of course, you can always say, yeah, Chris Duarte, if he has a good game, that helps. But Chris Duarte, much like what we were talking about with Brock Purdy, when it's like, hey, Brock isn't paid a lot of money. They pay Deebo Samuel, they pay Trent Williams, they pay all of those Nick Bosa, all those high-paid guys to step up in moments when the guy who's not getting paid a lot isn't there. So in that same vein, De'Aaron Fox isn't there. The Kings need their guys who they're paying Domantas Sabonis now, especially to be a guy who's able to step up and carry this team, and Keegan Murray, a guy who they expect to step up at some point during this season, and he's had a decent start to the year so far. But this is a great opportunity for those two guys to really, put their imprint on this team right here, right now, because it would do them a lot of favors. The reason why we talked about after that Friday game where you mentioned earlier, De'Aaron had 28 shots.
Yeah.
A lot coming in that fourth quarter. Kind of felt like he didn't trust his teammates or he didn't believe that him getting rid of the ball was the best course of action. Would be great to build up the confidence of some of those other guys and also show De'Aaron Fox and maybe it is a coaching decision as well. Maybe even the coaching staff, like there are a lot of guys on this team who can help contribute, especially on the offensive end.
Yeah. Whenever your star player goes out, very similar to Chris and I on the golf course today, it's a team building exercise.
Yes.
Whatever,
exactly.
any win is going to be a team win because you don't have your main guy. So I think that's what the Kings are going to look to do, not just in this game, but in any game, because we don't know the timetable yet. Any game where they don't have De'Aaron Fox moving forward from the 9-1-6, I've never understood why teams don't exploit Steph Curry on defense. He plays defense with his hands. You can easily get him in foul trouble with him having to switch on defense with someone who can't attack him.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you say you never understood it, don't you think somebody would have figured that out by now?
I mean, yeah, they try and get him into actions, and they do for the most part, but frankly, it's the Warriors scheming against it as well. Like, they understand that sometimes teams will try and switch until you get Steph on him.
Exactly.
So they just won't switch or they're really crafty in figuring out how to get preferable matchups on the defensive end. I mean, they've been having championship runs for years now. They've been experimenting with putting in different lineups and how to, everybody during a playoff series, everything is exploited.
They've seen it all.
They have counters for everything. They know how to get their guys in advantageous situations, and that's what makes them so tough to take down in a playoff series. And everybody knows Steph Curry is not an elite defender. It's why it's such a big deal that he's become a good team defender.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Kings will get him ISO'd a couple times this game, but it's not going to be let's just stop the offense until we can get Steph Curry switched on the guy.
Because then your offense becomes out of whack.
Exactly.
Right. It reminds me of in pickup when somebody shows up that's way taller than everybody. And everybody thinks, get in the post, and we're just going to post you up every single time. And we don't even know how good he is, but he's tall, right? And you spend the first half of the game trying to feed this guy the rock, and you never get into a flow. And now you're down, you're trying to shoot buckets, and everybody's cold. You still have to let the game kind of come to you.
Exactly. You got to do what you're doing. You got to follow your game plan.
Exactly, and let it happen organically. If you try to sell out and only do one thing, it just throws everything else off.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't even know if we talk about attacking, thinking about it. Okay. Who could you really switch on him that would make sense and would be within the offense? I'm looking at Malik Monk and I'm looking at Keegan.
Yeah, and I mean, I still don't trust Keegan in ISO.
Not yet.
It's really only Malik Monk.
It's Malik Monk.
Like you said, that's not isolation basketball is not the Kings offense. It's actually quite literally the opposite of the Kings offense. They really don't run isolations until De'Aaron Fox in the fourth quarter, like nitty gritty time. For the most part, again, it's a free flowing motion offense. No, the ball doesn't really stick, and they'll run pick and rolls, but it's not really ever to set up an isolation bucket. Right. So, maybe in the fourth quarter, if they need a bucket, they're going to try and get Steph switched onto them, but it's just not going to be something that they actively hunt throughout the game. Maybe if there's a mouse in the house, like you're saying, right? Sabonis is somehow Steph is switched on Sabonis. Yeah, absolutely.
Take your bucket.
Feed him by all means necessary. But to just actively hunt Steph for 4 quarters, it's not a recipe. It's just not something that you're going to do in the NBA. Right?
No. But you do need to put your best foot forward because, as we talked about, and even though we had somebody on the YouTube chat say there's the Kings don't have a chance tonight, go ahead and cut that and quote it, because we saw yesterday in a game where KD, yes, he's still missing Booker and still missing Beal. They were well in control of that game. The Suns were, and all of a sudden here comes Wembanyama and the Spurs, and they're able to get it done on a questionable call towards the end where Kevin Durant may have gotten hacked and fouled. And,
possibly.
Right, and Frank Vogel was very open about that, but the bottom line is, Chris and I, at the beginning of the season, we talked about who are the teams where you can just roll out the basketball in the Western Conference and how strong the West is. And I think we kind of put the Spurs in that category, but we also said, well, they have Wembanyama, so you can't really put them there.
Yeah.
So the good thing is the Kings are playing a couple of the teams that we had in that category.
Yeah.
Well, they're playing, a couple of those teams.
The category.
They're playing the category pretty much. After this game, they get the Houston Rockets twice, which is a gift.
Yeah.
And then they also get the Blazers, and Scoot Henderson has not been able to figure it out quite yet. So, again,
Anthony Simons, I believe, is out as well.
He's out. So again, good situation for the Kings, but you cannot roll the ball out in this conference. You just can't do it. Can't do it.
No, even against those the Rockets games and the Blazer game, like we can sit here and say, those should be guaranteed wins even without De'Aaron Fox. But realistically, I mean, both of those teams are going to be scrappy. They still have some guys that can give you headaches, and especially a team like the Kings who has struggled on the defensive end. If you're not stopping NBA guys, they'll get in a rhythm, and they can get hot. And once they're hot, I mean, realistically, anything can happen. Jeremy Grant can give the Kings 30, and that can make it a game. So you can't take anyone lightly in the same way that you could argue the Warriors can't take the Kings lightly tonight. So.
Yeah, and I don't know, to be honest, I'll put it to you like this. I would be very surprised if the Kings are able to beat the Houston Rockets twice without De'Aaron Fox. Just because of how everything's going.
Happens, for sure.
Not to say obviously they should.
This is not last year's Houston Rockets either.
No, they pay. It better not, because it's a different payroll, different paychecks.
Paid Fran VanVleet. They bring in Udoka,
and Dylan Brooks. He's still hopping around trying to figure out where he's looking for Steph Curry right now. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, we have a hot take alert coming in on the text line that we're going to read to see how you guys feel about it. And we will also start our breakdown of the keys to the game. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's the first day of November. We're looking at a mild day today under mostly sunny skies and light winds. Highs will peak in the mid-70s. Expect overnight lows in the mid-40s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. For all your roofing and solar needs, visit acrhomeservices.com. Major changes in Vegas. Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler were fired from their coaching and GM duties. McDaniels was just 9-16 in a season and a half. Linebacker coach Antonio Pierce takes over on an interim role. Since Mark Davis took over control of the team in 2011, the head coaching list: Hugh Jackson, Dennis Allen, Tony Sperano, Jack Del Rio, John Gruden, Rich Bisaccia, and Josh McDaniels. That is your Silver and Black Report. Let ACR Home Services be your one-stop shop for all your home needs, starting with unbeatable roofing services. Right now, get a new roof and receive $1,000 off that roof. So sign up today and save with no payment for up to 12 months. And ACR is more than just a roofing company. Whether it's roofing, solar, electrical work, you name it, when you choose ACR Home Services, you're not just getting a contractor, you're partnering with a team that's invested in your satisfaction. That's ACR Home Services.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins, we are back. And you know, Chris Watkins loves a good trade generator. He loves a good hot take trade. And we have one here from the 916. Want to get your thoughts. Hot take, 916 says, Herder, Mitchell, plus draft picks for DeRozan. This is Sean from Placerville. Thank you, Sean.
Herder, Mitchell, and who now?
Herder, Mitchell, plus draft picks for DeRozan. I guess in this conversation, it would be who says no. And I'm pretty sure the Bulls say no, right?
No, I think the Kings actually would say no.
Really?
Yeah. DeRozan's on an expiring contract. Also, I really like DeMar DeRozan as a player, but I'm just trying to figure out what he would necessarily bring to this Kings team that they don't already have.
Midi and mid defense.
Yeah.
Mid-range, mid all around.
Yeah, just mid.
Mid-range shot.
Yeah, king of the mid.
Defense for mid-media, which you're listening to right now.
I would definitely say that's like, I like the idea of them being aggressive and probably, I mean, if they are going to make a move, especially before January when Harrison Barnes can be traded, I would imagine it would have to be Herder, Davion, and picks. I don't think we're at that point in the season yet. 3 games in is just, it's too early to make any drastic switches. And yes, Kevin Herder came out the gates slow, but that I don't think that means that we should just wholesale.
Well, Sham's already talking. Basically, the narrative is, and you agree with this though. You just don't agree with the timing, because the narrative is that the Kings don't have enough right now.
Yeah, for sure.
They need somebody to take them over the top.
Yep.
Now, whether that's DeMar DeRozan, that's a different question. So Manny Too Legit on the YouTube chat says, heck no. Caesar 916 says, nope. Nobody wants to do this pick, because Shams Charania just a couple days ago said that over the summer the Kings were looking at the two untouchables in Toronto. Untouchable in Toronto. That sounds like a movie in OG Anunoby. Right. And Pascal Siakam. So I think that maybe one of those guys moves you more.
For sure, definitely. I mean, it's more just like, why make it make sense for me? Like, what is DeMar DeRozan bringing to this team that they don't have? It's an older guy. You get it's expiring contract and it's a lot of money, but I don't really think that DeMar brings anything to this Kings team. That's like if he were a good defender like OG Anunoby, absolutely. He's also DeMar DeRozan's a lot older than a guy like OG is. He also is somebody who needs the ball in his hands a lot more than what I think the Kings necessarily need right now. And, he's just not really he's not really a fit for this team, I think, for right here and now. Maybe a couple years ago, but where it stands right now, I just think that there's better options to have for this team. And I frankly like the fit of Kevin Herder and Davion Mitchell a lot more for Sacramento than DeMar DeRozan.
So if it was a matter of making this, say it's the only deal you could make, you'd rather ride out with the current roster.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like DeMar DeRozan, DeMar DeRozan's not making the Kings a title team.
Probably not anymore.
No, he's not.
Now, if that was
he's taking shots away from Keegan at this point. That's what
right. And I was going to say the other guy that I saw a graphic today of Zach LaVine going to Philly.
Right.
And how that would look. Zach LaVine is another guy who's always in the trade generator. We know he can dunk really well, and
Almost
he can
the king.
And he can get hot from 3-ball land, but that's another guy who volume shooter.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's he look like in a winning situation? No one has seen Zach LaVine in his entire career. In a
Never
winning
been
situation.
in one. And to be honest, not to go there, not to bring it up, if people didn't think that De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton would work,
oh boy,
then there's no way that Zach LaVine and De'Aaron Fox would work.
No.
I don't think so. And I'm a guy who typically likes to err on the side of, you never know.
Yeah.
These guys are professional athletes. They can figure it out.
For sure.
But I don't see that happening.
No, he's like a bigger Malik Monk at that point, which is fine.
Right.
Like, that's great. We would love it. But again, I don't think that that's necessarily the piece that the Kings are missing. Like, yes, you could argue that maybe it's like the Niners where they're doubling down on their defensive line. Maybe the Kings should just continue to bank on their offense being the thing that sets them apart from everybody else. But I think it'd be a really, really tough sell to the fan base. Not that that's what Monty's really looking for, but even just to the general public,
right?
That the Kings, if they are going to make a big move, it won't be defensive minded, or it won't be a move that has some sort of defensive implications. Because again, the offense is we've already seen what it looks like when the offense is ridiculous and you're just hoping for a good defense.
Right.
To me, if you're going to continue to try and build this thing out, you're going to have to sacrifice some offense and try and bring in some defense. That to me feels like the next logical step of development for this team.
Right. No, and that makes sense. And we got another one, 916. Heck no to DeRozan. James X, keep up the great work, guys. Thank you. Thank you, James. But nobody seems to want DeRozan. And nobody has said yes to this. But can I talk about this whole Toronto thing? And I know, and I know Shams mentioned these guys as well. Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby. I know you personally. Look, this is what we do, right? And you have what, the NBA, the league pass. I'm on my free trial right now.
Yep.
I have to decide whether I will keep it or not.
Maybe we can split it.
But I'm down for that.
Yeah.
But these names, they come up and they just take off. And does the average fan, these names become names, right?
Exactly.
And I don't know how many people watched the Raptors when they faced off against the Warriors. I know it was the finals, so a lot of people do watch. But who the heck has watched Pascal Siakam after the finals?
Nobody. I mean, like you were setting up. I watch League Pass. I have League Pass. Probably watched the Raptors definitely 5 times or under in the past 2 to 3 years.
So that's
not non-Kings.
Exactly. So I think that's why names, and to be fair, I think that's why names like DeMar DeRozan still come up.
Absolutely.
Because it's a name you know.
Yep.
Last time I saw him, he was pretty darn good, and I've seen him more often. Nobody's watching Raptor games. No. Drake ain't even watching Raptor games. He's not watching. So on OG Anunoby, everybody knows this name. Oh my gosh.
The OG hype, I'm telling you, it's way too much.
I
like OG.
Right.
He's cool.
So you would go Pascal over OG?
Yes. I think as an individual talent, yes. But as a team basketball player, I could see how you could say OG fits on 30 teams. Like you can just plug and play OG with his skill set, and it makes sense for just about every team. Pascal is a little bit more of a scorer heavy guy, and you kind of need to have somebody, you need to have shots for him essentially.
But honestly, though, if you're able to get Pascal and Sabonis together,
no, from a talent perspective,
that is dirty.
I'm taking that over OG. Absolutely.
Yes.
I think that puts the Kings more seriously in like a conference finals. I don't know if I'm willing to go NBA finals, but definitely conference finals conversation. For sure.
But hey, Masai has not wanted to give these guys up. And as Sham Sharani has said, we played the sound yesterday. Look, these guys have kind of been available, kind of not been available for a while now, and nobody has been able to crack the code of what he wants. And to your point, and we can get into it as well, 916-339-1140. We're going to get into the keys of the game. We also want to know, though, who is untouchable on the Kings? We know the obvious ones.
Right.
We want names that are maybe would be thrown around. Who is untouchable to you?
Is Keegan Murray actually untouchable?
Yes.
And when we say untouchable, it means Jason Tatum for
Right.
for Keegan Murray.
What
You're
is
not
the
doing it.
level? What is the level? All right.
Is anybody
If you come in with De'Aaron Fox or you come in with Sabonis, we're not reading it and we're not taking your call. We want the real deal. We want the real deal. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL?
Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple people recommended the Good Feet store to me, I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around this store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Knee, hip, foot, leg, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Most people know that the term birdie in golf refers to a score of 1 under par, but where did the term originate? According to Scottish Golf History website, it comes from the early 20th century American slang term bird, which meant anything excellent. While a 1911 edition of Maclean magazine described a golf shot as bird, straight down the course about 215 yards, the country club in Atlantic City lays claim to the first use of the word birdie. In 1898, A.B. Smith was playing the par 4 second hole when his second shot went within inches of the hole. That was a bird of a shot, he said, and claimed he should get double money if he scored 1 under par. He did indeed hold his putt, and the group thereafter referred to such a score as a birdie. In 1913, acclaimed writer Bernard Darwin wrote in the September issue of Country Life of his visit to America. He explained that it takes a day or two for the English onlooker to understand that a birdie is a hole done in a stroke under par. And now you know. That's Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Nate Littlefield. These are your Sactown Sports headlines. Game 5 of the World Series is tonight. The Texas Rangers currently lead that series 3-1 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. First pitch is at 5:03 p.m. Your Sacramento Kings are back tonight as well. They are in the Bay to take on the Warriors again. De'Aaron Fox will not be playing for the Kings, and don't expect to see Trey Lyles yet either. Coverage starts at 5:30. Game night, Scott Marsh, Henry Turner, leading up to tip-off, 7 p.m. with the G-Man. Don't forget, all guests and all callers, brought to you by the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are the headlines. Now we get back to Stiles and Watkins.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
We are back. Sactown Sports, Stiles and Watkins, taking you up to 2 p.m., talking all things Kings. We've been breaking down what we want to see from the Kings tonight. We're going to get into our keys to the game. But, you know, keys to the game, they're great. They're fun. But what about just firing up the trade generator? So before the break,
it's a lot funner.
We said who is untouchable, and we're getting a lot of answers here on the YouTube chat. Who is untouchable? But we did not want you to say Sabonis and Fox, or I guess you could say only Sabonis and Fox, which some people did. Ward says Malik Monk is untouchable. And Bo says only Sabonis and Fox are untouchable. Eric S. says Keegan is untouchable. Family Schlegel says Coach Brown is untouchable.
Ooh, that's the one right there.
That's the one.
Coach Brown's definitely untouchable.
That's the one. So, I think those three, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, even then, I have a problem saying that Keegan's completely untouchable.
I'm glad you say that.
Yeah.
Because
Sabonis wouldn't say he's untouchable.
Wow.
I would not say Sabonis.
So only Fox.
I would say Fox and Coach Brown. Not that Coach Brown is actually a part of the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I would
right,
probably say De'Aaron is really the only true, absolutely, actually don't call us about it untouchable.
Right. And I don't think anybody would. You know what I mean?
No.
They wouldn't they wouldn't waste their time.
No.
The 707's got one for you, Chris.
Keegan's close, though.
Keegan Murray, this is going to light up everything because this guy is quite polarizing.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
You are Monty.
Okay.
You got the phone.
I got a puffy vest.
You got a puffy vest on, just like that collared shirt you were wearing, that polo you were wearing a couple days ago.
Yep.
Hey, Chris, it's the Timberwolves. We'll give you Karl Anthony Towns for Keegan Murray right now.
I would say, oh my gosh, I would straight up. That's all we're doing.
Straight up.
That's a tough one. I would probably say no, but I would really, really, really have to think about it because I know I don't necessarily subscribe to the Karl Anthony Towns as a complete softy bum, which some people maybe even in this building subscribe to. But I mean, it's just he could be a really good fit next to Sabonis. Like that's the only thing is that Cat would be another. And this is why I say Keegan Murray is not untouchable because there are guys out there where if you're having the call, regardless of whether or not that guy might actually be on the block or not, but like if the Clippers or I don't know, maybe not the Clippers because I was going to say Paul George or Kawhi, but those guys have injury. If the Boston Celtics called and said straight up like, hey, Jaylen Brown actually hates Jason Tatum. Would you guys take Jaylen Brown from our hands for Keegan Murray? I really would have a borderline impossible time turning that down. Like I would waffle on it back and forth. I would say, Keegan's a shooter. He's 6'8". What he can be is something that just isn't common in this league, but the known product of what Jaylen Brown is. And, 5 years ago, if Keegan does, or 5 years from now, if Keegan doesn't end up reaching his max potential, I would just beat myself up. I'd say I could have had the known product of Jaylen Brown, who still is young, but didn't trade him for Keegan Murray. Like, I just think that there's, to say untouchable to me is like it's a very, very certified class.
Right. But then that goes into untouchable realistically and what that level is. So Jaylen Brown would probably be the limit realistically that somebody would be willing to go. I know Keegan has a lot of promise.
Yeah.
But
some things are too hard to turn down.
Some things are too hard to turn down. I'm just saying I don't know how crazy things would get. I don't know if Keegan is at the level where the Celtics would call for Jaylen Brown.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, right now,
like he's not getting thrown in an OG trade or anything like Keegan.
No, not with other guys.
He's untouchable.
Yeah,
but in the sense of like, if you're throwing another star at me, and this is the only way that I can get a certified star, and I'm the Kings, and I feel like this is a year where we can win a championship because whatever, this sets us up for a championship in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
it would just be really, really hard to turn down just because you're like, I mean, think about the Tyrese Halliburton thing. How many people would have said Tyrese Halliburton completely untradeable? And even he got moved.
Okay. But flip that now. And what if it's Jaylen Brown for De'Aaron?
No.
Okay.
No. I think De'Aaron's a better player.
I had to check.
Yeah. Well, I just think that De'Aaron is he's just not going to get moved. Like there isn't, even if you say De'Aaron Fox for Jason Tatum or something, now, is Jason Tatum maybe the higher pedigree player? Is he definitely the closer to being a quote-unquote superstar? Sure. But then you have to factor in everything that the Kings have invested into De'Aaron, what it would mean if they trade this guy that they drafted and put so much stock into that actually cares about the city and all that stuff. I just don't think that they would trade De'Aaron realistically for anybody that isn't like Nikola Jokic or Giannis Antetokounmpo. And if we're having those conversations, then nobody is untouchable.
Then they'll we're trying to keep it realistic here. So realistically, but I do think it's interesting, and even on the text line and the YouTube chat and the calls as well, nobody thinks Sabonis is untouchable.
I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. He's third team All-NBA last year. He's undeniably a top 5 center in the NBA. I don't know where exactly you want to put him, but he's in the conversation with Bam and Jokic and Embiid and Sabonis. And then, I don't know, you can throw your favorite center in there as well. But when it comes to like an elite level of production, like there's guys there, as we like to say on this program, there's levels to it. And Sabonis is definitely, he's near the top level, but he's not at the top level. And if you're moving Sabonis in a deal, you're ideally going to get somebody who is at a different level than him. So in that sense, yeah, I mean, like if you want to upgrade from him, I think he would be somebody that could be considered to be thrown into that conversation.
Right. But at the same time, I think a lot of Kings fans and Kings media feel like Sabonis is disrespected.
Absolutely.
So he's disrespected, but
that doesn't have to mean he's untouchable. I think it's just knowing what class or what conversation he belongs in, if that makes sense. Like, he can still be underrated, but incredibly valuable.
Right.
And like, I think that's more the case with him, is just people might not expect. I mean, even it's like the Halliburton thing. Like people killed the Kings for acquiring Sabonis, but he's the reason why they were in the playoffs. I don't think the Kings make the playoffs last year if they keep Tyrese Halliburton on that team without Sabonis and all the additions and all the players he was able to make better. I just think that there is a trade out there that could be made with Domantas Sabonis involved.
Yes, I would agree, but we're not trying to ship anybody out.
Absolutely
just
not.
yet.
Just a couple people.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
See,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
You did. You did.
I did. I just shouldn't have. That was
you did. But we have a new rule on this show, because I think, as fifth official show, by the way, I think as we continue to do this thing, we are building our identity. And our identity is that we love a good trade.
Yeah.
A good trade generator. So it doesn't matter if we're talking Niners. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. If you got a Kings trade or even a Niners trade, if it's a legit hot take trade generator that makes sense, it will get read.
Yeah.
Or call in at any time and we will answer your call. We want all the trade.
We got to screen it first.
We got to screen it.
Yeah.
For sure. But anything trade generator, trade machine, we are into. All right.
Definitely.
530 says, so Fox is untouchable because Jokic and Giannis are untouchable. I would say that, yes. And 916, don't touch De'Aaron. Don't touch him. He's untouchable. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the keys to the game.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to start with mine, and then you go with yours. We'll just go back and forth.
Yep. 1 for 1.
My first one might be the most obvious. Slow down Steph Curry.
Sounds like a great plan.
Yeah, very easy to do.
Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth, right? That's what Mike Tyson likes to say. Absolutely. Plan is to slow him down. I mean, Steph has been absolutely ridiculous this year. I was just reading his point totals for the season: 27, 41 against the Kings, 24, and then 42 the other night. He's came out this season maybe playing, or looking, I should say, the best that he has his entire career, which is scary.
He got asked, have you ever felt this locked in before? And what did he say?
I'm always locked in.
No. Goodness. I got to watch the game with this guy. He said 2016 was the last time he felt this locked in.
Interesting. And to be as far as he is, as deep as he is in his career, and for now to be the most locked in he is, I mean, it's showing, because we saw it right in front of our faces. It was an efficient 41. Like he was locked in. I mean, that's the right term to use. He was just absolutely locked in. He was firing on all cylinders. To build on that, I would say slow down Steph Curry, but at the same time, win the non-Steph Curry minutes. You have to take advantage of him not being on the floor.
Right.
That was a huge talking point for last year's playoffs, and the point still stands, even more so now that they actually have somebody who can prop up the offense when Steph isn't out there. You have to be able to win mainly those Chris Paul minutes. When he's out there, the Kings got absolutely killed on that Friday game. They have to be better at taking advantage of the Warriors when they don't have their main scorer. I'm looking at Will Z's preview. Shout out Will Z Stats, who always does the great work, just fantastic work. He points out that, the Warriors have been fantastic this season in the non-Steph minutes. They are a plus 31 in 65 minutes that Steph has not played this year.
That can't happen.
That can't happen. The Kings have to be better this game about stopping the Warriors or just outscoring the Warriors at least when Steph isn't out there.
Yeah. Got to get to a break. When we get back, we'll continue to break down the keys to the game. And if you have any keys to the game, be sure to call in 916-339-1140 or hop in the YouTube chat or the text line as well. All that and more when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No. We tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep. We have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
The 49ers Report, brought to you by EB Stone. EB Stone, for the life of your garden. Not much went right for the red and gold in Week 8, losing their third straight game of the season, 31-17. Cincinnati quarterback Joe Burrow was cooking early, throwing for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. Running back Joe Mixon also got involved, going for 87 yards on the ground. His lone touchdown put the exclamation point on the visitors' victory, walking in from 5 yards out late in the fourth quarter. The 49ers entered their bye week at 5-3, dropping to second in the NFC West.
With over 100 years as a family-owned company, EB Stone's learned a few things about making plants grow. Start a healthy family hobby with indoor planting with EB Stone's Edna's Best indoor and outdoor potting soil to help your little plants grow into the perfect indoor plant for the kids and family to enjoy. EB Stone's indoor and outdoor potting soil is perfectly blended with all the important ingredients you need to create that perfect indoor and outdoor plant or garden. EB Stone, for the life of your garden. Visit ebstone.org for more gardening tips, products, and locations near you.
Guys, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making you this guarantee. We will improve the medical condition of your ED or low T, or we'll give you your money back. Book your free appointment today. Call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out, Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We are back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We have it all going today. Again, Niners and the trade that never was. Thank you again to Akash Anavarathan, who hopped on to talk about all things Niners. Had some sound from JaVale McGee talking about De'Aaron Fox's defense, which Chris did not believe JaVale McGee and or Coach Mike Brown about the defense, trade generators, and now we are continuing to break down the keys to the game for the Warriors Kings tonight. And we basically have gotten through Stop Steph. So I went first and you kind of built off it. Why don't we get your pure key
Yes.
to the game, and we'll go from there.
How about attack the basket? De'Aaron Fox obviously is just elite at getting to the rim and especially finishing at the rim last year. Finished like with like Rudy Gobert percentages at the rim. So clearly they're going to miss him, but they can't stop attacking the rim. Like the Warriors' deficiency is still their overall size. Like they still have Kevon Looney and Draymond Green as their primary bigs. And when they don't have him, it's Trace Jackson Davis, who's also under 7 feet tall. So I think it would be really, really advantageous if the Kings can continue to get to the rim and by extension also get to the free throw line as well. If they can win that free throw advantage, I think the Warriors last year had the biggest discrepancy of field goals taken for them versus field goal or free throws given up.
Got it.
So if they can get to the line and win that free throw advantage, and also for the sake of everything good out there, can they make free throws at like an 85 or I'll take 80 at this point. I'll take an 80% clip.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. And again, making the game easier when you don't have your star player, you want to make the game as easy as possible. And the best way of doing that is getting to the free throw line. And here's a thought, knocking them down.
Right. You got to knock them down. And a lot of people, Manny Too Legit with his key to the game, let Davion guard Curry the whole game, limit Curry in scoring under 30. Easier said than done. Make sure to box out and grab rebounds, show the physicality, make sure to block shots in the paint and make our shots. Yeah, I mean, I think going with that, attacking the basket and getting to the free throw line, one thing that we saw, and I didn't have this in my key to the game, I had somebody else instead, but I'm just going to go with it to piggyback off what you said. That's Malik Monk, because you don't have, and honestly, Davion Mitchell can get to the rack. You don't see him finish very much. He likes to pass out of it. But Malik Monk is the number one rated pick and roll player in the NBA. Yeah. And who's the number one roller? That would be JaVale McGee. Now, we know JaVale McGee is only going to play in spurts. But Malik Monk, the reason it works so well is because he's able to get to the cup whenever he wants, get fouled. So like Chris says, make your free throws. So if Malik Monk can put pressure on whoever's guarding him, because if you look at the breakdown right now, and we did this on Friday, you figure Andrew Wiggins is going to guard Keegan.
That's what I would guess, yeah.
Okay, Andrew Wiggins will guard Keegan. Yep. You will have Draymond and Sabonis battling it out.
Yep.
And then you would have, Davion and Steph.
Yeah, it might even be Draymond on HB and then probably Looney on Sabonis, HB being guarded by Draymond, Wiggins on Keegan, and then Clay on Herter, Steph on Davion.
Right.
Probably.
So you have Davion go ahead and, just put pressure on them. And then when that second unit comes out, I know Moses Moody has been doing some things. He's been playing well, but Malik Monk is going to get time with that first unit. So whenever Malik Monk is in there, I know he can shoot that thing. I know he can, but I'm really looking for him to get to the rack instead and put that pressure on the defense so that you can get some of these guys in foul trouble. So I think that's a great call.
I laugh because we technically, Nate, do we want to even, this isn't,
we don't need the sound.
This is not breaking news. I wouldn't say this is breaking news, but the Kings just acquired somebody. The Kings made a trade. I don't even know if I can pronounce this. I
was pronouncing it all day yesterday, and I was botching it. You want me to?
Yeah, please, Nate. Thank you. Please.
Philip, spelled with an F, so not the PH. Philip Petrusev.
Thank you.
I believe that's the pronunciation.
The Clippers are trading center Philip Petrusev.
That's what I was going by.
Okay, Philip Petrusev and cash to the Sacramento Kings. Sources tell Adrian Wojnarowski Petrusev arrived from Philadelphia in the James Harden deal, and the Kings will get a chance to evaluate the 23-year-old center and see if he has a future there. I love basketball. I watch basketball all day, all year. I've never once in my life heard of this man, Philip Petrusev. So I can't. If you're coming here for analysis, I really can't. Can't give you nothing.
We will also be evaluating Philip,
right?
We will,
and sure.
Wherever we can see him.
Eyes on him. Oh, yeah.
Wherever we can see him. And look, a move is a move, right? You can't say that the Kings haven't done anything.
It's an interesting flyer for them to take.
No, that's what I was gonna say too, because even in terms of it being a flyer and you look at this team, what does that say? Again, that's a name that we've kind of thrown up and down before, but if you're Alex Len, what's going on, brother? I mean, do I need to go step into the office and see what's going on? And we're getting some good information here. Phillip is a Gonzaga guy.
Yep.
So another Gonzaga guy.
Second round pick, 50th overall pick in the 2021 draft. He's technically a rookie. 6'11", 235. It's just a really, really, I mean, this is not really something that the Kings have typically done in their past where, this is like a move because clearly Monty McNair had evaluated this guy at some point. Also wouldn't surprise me if, he's coming from Philadelphia. Daryl Morey.
Yeah.
Obviously, Monty McNair and Daryl Morey have their connections. It wouldn't surprise me if either they've had conversations about him before or maybe they have similar models and saw similar things in this guy. So I think it's really interesting. And to your point, what does this mean for not necessarily specifically Alex Len, but for the Kings center depth? Is this a sign that maybe they're not 100% pleased with what they've seen from the backup center role so far? I don't think that's what this guy is being brought in for, but is it a sign of that?
Right. No, probably not specifically. Yeah. But I think it does tell us that from what we've been watching, we're sitting there watching the games together. And I say to you, Chris, that's a lot of JaVale.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of JaVale. And I think it's a little too much JaVale. Now, is this guy going to come in and be the backup instead of JaVale? Absolutely not. Yeah. I don't see that happening. So I think it is interesting because is this about the future? I can't see this guy really helping this specific year. Is it more about down the road and moving towards, hey, all right, we don't know that Alex Len is the guy. Let's see if we can build on this dude and maybe you get him some reps somewhere.
It could also be a G League thing as well.
Rather than you get him reps in Stockton.
Can't forget that, the Kings had Neemias Queta, who was runner-up for MVP last year in the G League. They were missing that guy. The G League season hasn't started yet, so maybe this is more of a, we maybe down the line in the future, we think this guy might have some sort of NBA potential, but it could also just be as simple as Kings lost a really good G League center, and this guy could not only give them minutes there, but also, again, potentially blossom into something else. So it's a good flyer to take. Like it's quite literally no risk, and the Kings are getting paid to do it. They're getting cash along with Phillip. So it's really no harm, no foul. There's no reason for the Kings not to jump on this if they have any intel on this guy.
Right.
I like it. I think that this is a thing that that's really only positive.
Yeah, and is it going to fix if they believe there is an issue at the backup position? Is it backup center position? Is it going to help that? Probably not, but at least you get him into the mix. You see if he's worth your time and kind of move on from there.
Still think the Kings can't win tonight, even after that move?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Was it George was his name?
Yeah.
George. Still think they can't win? They just got Phillip. Phillip. All right, back to the keys to the game. And we talked about, kind of led into getting Monk going. But, man, obviously this is another obvious one. And I know he had a good game, not necessarily shooting the ball. He shot the ball well towards the end. He got some big rebounds. He got the chain at the end. But I would say Kevin Huerter to have a really good shooting night.
Actual breakout performance.
Yeah, and you said on Sunday you were surprised that they didn't run action for Kevin Huerter to start the game. You thought he probably was going to take the first shot of the game. They didn't end up doing that. I think that's because Mike Brown wants to stay true to his mantra of we don't force things, we just let it come to them. But at some point, and you don't want to put pressure on your guy as well, but without De'Aaron, you're going to need some scoring from somebody. And, it's all good. And we had a feel-good moment with Kevin Huerter, but you're only as good as your last performance.
Exactly.
So if he goes out and he stinks up the joint again, we're right back at square one. Yeah. When somebody in baseball is slumping, it's not necessarily a 0 for 18. It could be a 2 for 20. So they get a couple hits, but just in general, they haven't been able to get it done.
Right. Yeah. I think that this would be a great opportunity for Kevin to kind of, get exactly like you said, have a breakout performance. And I think this is a prime game for us to have one of those where we look at the box score and it's like, oh my gosh, all 5 starters had over 15 points. And then you have Sasha Vezenkov on the bench contributing 10 points and Duarte producing 8 points, and maybe JaVale can get a couple lobs and give you 6 to 8 points.
Right.
I think that, like you said earlier, like it's going to be, if they do win, it's going to be a team victory. And I think that's something to frankly look forward to. I think that's, of course, it's a team sport, even though basketball is talked about a lot with individuals. It is a lot about the collective unit of everybody. And I think the Kings coming together, like you said, this is a perfect opportunity almost for a team bonding experience. I think it would be a great time for everybody to show out, and maybe we can add to a 30-point performer already to this season. We already got HB. We've already had De'Aaron. Wouldn't surprise me if tonight or any of these games without De'Aaron is a great opportunity for somebody else to pop up. Wouldn't surprise me.
Keegan Murray. Hopefully
Prime
that
candidate.
happens. Hopefully that happens. All right, got to get to break. When we get back, we will finish up the keys to the game. And also that ESPN star that you either love or you don't had some good things to say about your Sacramento Kings, the Beam Team. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729 or visit us at powercopiers.com.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles, drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet Arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Knee, hip, foot, leg, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Nate Littlefield. These are your Sactown Sports headlines. Game 5 of the World Series is tonight. Texas Rangers currently lead that series 3-1 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. First pitch, 5:03 p.m. But if you're not watching that, well, you probably, no matter what, should be watching the Kings. Second screen, laptop, whatever it is. They're in the Bay to take on the Warriors again. Fox will not be playing for the Kings. Don't expect to see Trey Lyles for the Kings either. Coverage starts 5:30 p.m. with game night, leading up tip-off 7 p.m. with the G-Man. And then the 49ers made a big splash at the trade deadline. They sent a third-rounder to the Washington Commanders for Chase Young. San Francisco's looking to bolster their struggling yet star-studded defense. Don't forget, all guests and all callers brought to you by the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are the headlines. Now we get to the last hour of Stiles and Watkins on this Kings game night.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube.
Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
1 hour left. Stiles and Watkins on this Wednesday, taking up to 2 p.m., talking Kings. Might have a little bit more Niners left for you. Who knows? Who knows? Got to stick around and find out. 1:30, bold predictions for the game tonight. Don't miss it. 1:30, bold predictions. Get your bold predictions ready. 916-339-1140. Bold predictions at 1:30. Russell on the YouTube chat is already ahead of us. I got Davion going for dub tonight. I got Davion going for 20.
You guys got to get me in on that bold prediction.
Oh,
It's like my
we
favorite
got
thing.
you.
Yeah, okay.
We got you.
I love saying crazy
Yes.
stuff.
Okay.
They can't be held liable for
Right,
it.
right. Bold
Yeah.
prediction for this specific game, though. This
Yeah,
specific
of
game.
course, yeah. I got him.
All right. We're ready to go. Chris, I think you're up next. Keys to the game.
Keys to the game. So we have attack the basket. We have get to the line. We have win the Steph Curry less minutes.
Yes.
And how about just creating turnovers? The Warriors, again, are a team in their past that has been very, very turnover friendly. We were talking earlier about turnover battles and things like that. Obviously, the defensive end is something that I hope will be given even more attention to now that they don't have De'Aaron. Now that maybe you can't convince yourself, okay, let's keep it close, and then De'Aaron will pull it apart in the fourth quarter. You might need to seriously lean into a defensive identity without him. You have Davion playing for an extended run. He's, of course, going to bring a more defensive presence. I'd like to see the Kings maybe win like a game where both teams score under 110 points. How about that? Like, that would be an interesting thing to say. And a big part of that is creating turnovers and really just defensively creating as much chaos as possible. Because, yes, while the Warriors do like to sometimes thrive in chaos, I think with how their age is structured and with how old they are, I think they like to play a little bit more of their style of ball. And if the Kings can kind of turn this game into a fast-paced, high-flying game, but still also it's kind of a hard line to balance where you're playing fast, but you still have to try and play defense as well. If they can find that balance, I really think that just forcing this Warrior team to kind of revert back to their old ways would be massive for them trying to get the result.
Yeah. And, you could just go full-blown gimmicks tonight. How about make tonight, they have different heritage nights. They have different themed nights.
Yeah.
How about just making tonight a gimmick night where you just attack Steph all night long, right? And you trap him offensively. And then Draymond, Sabonis, he disrespects you. Don't get that defensive
Stomp on
three.
his chest.
Well, okay. No A-Town stomping. Just no Baytown
stomp
stomping.
the yard or something.
Yeah, don't do that. But I would say don't get a defensive 3 seconds in the key call, but disrespect them.
Yeah.
Just go old school.
Yeah. Let him shoot. Yeah.
Don't
I'm
touch
not
him at the
worried
top
about
of the key. Just pull out all the stops tonight, because if the Kings are able to get this win, It would be very impressive. I think that's it. That's all I had for keys.
That's all I got as well.
That's all I had for keys to the game. And we thank you on the YouTube chat and the text line as well for bringing yours in as well as the call line. And the reason it's important for the Kings to get this W is because the man, the myth, the legend himself, Stephen A. Smith, don't be disrespectful, had some things to say about the Kings earlier this week.
Wow. The best NBA team in the state of California. I think for the moment, we got to give it to the Sacramento Kings.
What?
I understand that, they go up against the Warriors, and the Warriors bested them in the first round last year, bested them in the season opener. But when you look at the totality of their performances during the regular season and the way they've come out and the way De'Aaron Fox has elevated his level of play, considering the level of youth on his side and what have you, I look at the Sacramento Kings, particularly them, Shannon, just beating the Los Angeles Lakers with Anthony Davis and LeBron James having such big games. And I just say to myself, this team is on the rise. They're coming. And if I had to pick a team where I think that they'll be standing, as the season progresses, I would look at the Sacramento Kings. I'm still leery on the Warriors because I think they need additional size. I don't trust that Anthony Davis is going to give you your 65 games, okay? And I damn sure don't trust Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to be healthy. If all things were being equal, that would be different. Health and consideration and all of that stuff. But considering what history has shown us, I'm just of the mindset. I'm going with the youth movement right now. I'm looking at the Sacramento Kings.
Wow.
How
about that?
I mean, if that doesn't get you fired up, and I know a lot of people have feelings about Stephen A. Smith. He's a polarizing figure. That's why he is who he is. But if that doesn't get you fired up as a Kings fan,
come on.
I mean,
how often you hear that?
No, you're not used to that.
Come on.
You're not used to that. You're used to getting disrespected.
Yeah.
You're used to, everybody forgot about us out in Sacramento. This is Stephen A. Smith. And a lot of people said, I saw in the YouTube chat earlier when we were trying to figure out, I didn't say who it was. And the person said, well, if it was Stephen A., then I wouldn't believe it because he's going to flip-flop, whatever the case may be.
For sure.
Well, maybe.
For sure.
But as of right now, he's got the Kings.
Us.
He's with us right
Okay.
now. So that's all that really matters. And if the Kings are able to beat the Warriors tonight without De'Aaron Fox, and Stephen A. didn't even mention that De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis didn't play in that overtime.
Right.
So if they're able to get this done, I do think the tides are starting to turn. Kendrick Perkins, who's another big figure, he was on our airways a couple days ago with the Drive guys talking about how Sacramento is feeling like Jay-Z and Beyonce these days. So we're really moving in the right direction, and the Kings can continue that momentum. And here's the thing. If they lose, as long as it's respectable and don't get their doors blown off, they're still in a good spot.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they're in a great spot. It really is a no-lose situation really for the Kings, unless, like you said, unless they get blown out. But even then, everyone's just going to say, they didn't have De'Aaron Fox and they got blown out. Obviously disappointing, but it's not the end of the world because you're always going to convince yourself that they'd play differently or play better if they would have had De'Aaron. So it's really all they can do is win. Like if they make the game close, it's again, okay, what a good showing against a really good team without their star. If they win the actual game, of course, that's a huge positive. And I hope they approach that. I hope they feel that. I hope they feel like there's no weight on their shoulder. They really should go out there and play freely like they have nothing to lose. Like you said, it doesn't have to be a complete gimmick game, but you shouldn't feel afraid to throw things out there or see some things that we haven't seen before. You've played this team so many times here recently that you almost probably should, because it's like, you've seen everything that we have. We've studied each other relentlessly. We know all the ins and outs of what we're trying to do and who each other are as a team. Why not just throw things out there that you just would have never guessed that they would have done before? I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I do as well. And the way that the Kings have kind of created this roster, I think it's important to note the depth piece that we've talked about. This is where it comes into play. This is why, everybody is starting to see what everybody in Sacramento already felt like they knew. Now, my question to you is, so Stephen A. said the best team in California.
Yeah.
So we know who else that entails. My question to you is, do you agree with Stephen A.?
Yeah, I do. I actually do. I had to. I had to think about it just to make sure that I believed it. And yeah, I think even last year the Kings were a better team than the Warriors. The Warriors just had Steph Curry, and Steph Curry stepped in that game 7. The Lakers, they've got some talent, but we've already seen the Kings are more than able to keep up with that talent. And I would say the Kings have more talent than they do. And then the Clippers, I mean, yeah, maybe the Clippers have more talent, but that talent never plays, and that talent definitely does not fit together. So I would have to give it to the Kings, because also, if we're just talking regular season, they do care a lot more about the regular season than any of those other teams as well.
Right. I'm trying to see when, because did you see the video where James Harden walks in and
Russ gives him a weird welcome?
Right. It was very weird situation. Nobody else reacted. It says right here, Sports Illustrated, James Harden's awkward entrance. So
so weird.
I don't know when he's going to play. They play the Lakers tonight. The Clippers do. So I don't know.
He could.
I think. I don't see why not.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, on the injury report for Philadelphia, it said James Harden was returning to physical condition or something like in-game condition.
In shape.
Essentially is what
he's a ghost right now. They're trying to bring him to reality. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, pretty much. So
why did Harden even want to go to the Clippers?
Because they wanted him, I think.
Yeah.
And it's in LA.
It's LA.
I think it's really
That's
simple
it, right?
as
They
it's
still
in
have
LA.
Kawhi and Paul George.
Yeah.
And he gets to do less.
Yeah.
He just wants
I
to
thought
do
he
less.
wants to do more.
I
on
don't
the
think
court.
he does. Remember that weird report? It is confusing though, because remember when that weird report when he wanted to go back to Houston?
Yes, exactly. But that was a money move, right? That was
Yeah.
to mess with more, right? Correct. Like, it just, I don't know. But then he probably made all that secret money when he had that deal to take less in Philly, and then all of a sudden he has an island in his name or whatever. It was a jet, a
and
G6.
lemon pepper wings in his name.
Yes.
I don't really know. That's a great question. I actually don't know what it was about the Clippers specific. I think it might have just been the fact that they have talent, and he could win, and they kind of wanted him. They would be willing to give up things for him, because I do think a big part of it is, frankly, no one really wanted James Harden's services.
Well, yeah, and I do think it is a form of, I'm just double checking here. He's from LA.
Yes, exactly.
So
he's from
it's
LA.
another I'm coming home.
Yep.
I'm coming home.
Paul
they
George,
didn't want
Kawhi,
me, but
all
I'm
of them.
coming home. Yeah, they're all from LA, so they're just kicking it, listening to YG or whatever else whatever else they got going on. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, man, and look, this is not Homer radio, right? We obviously we love the Kings and we want them to do well because everything's better when they do well. But I gotta say, it's pretty hard for me to not have the Warriors over the Kings right now.
Really?
And I'm not even high on the Warriors, but the way Steph is playing, they beat the Kings at home.
Sure.
I just not really sure how you could have. I guess I'm not really that high on the Lakers, and Stephen A. talked a lot about that Lakers W. I would say that I got the Warriors over the Kings right now.
I mean, I would still say that Steph Curry is definitely, obviously, the best player that's on those two teams. But I just feel like the Kings, while Steph might be the best player, I feel like Kings have like 2 through 5 or 6. And so in that sense, I just feel like.
But that was the playoffs last year.
But that's not how it ended up playing out. I would say how it ended up playing out was it was Steph 1, De'Aaron 2, probably like Andrew Wiggins 3, maybe
Malik.
Looney 4.
Oh, yeah, that's
and then
true.
probably Malik 5. Like it was.
You're
the
saying
Warriors-
Sabonis should have been up there.
Sabonis should have been up there. Malik maybe could have been up there. I think Davion was probably like the second most, maybe third most important player for the Kings last year. So I also firmly believe that the Kings just played like trash in that playoff series. I think they only played, I would say they played 1 or 2 games that I would say were reminiscent of the Kings team I saw in the regular season. Like they just missed shots. Like Kevin Huerter missed a lot of shots. Keegan Murray for 4 games missed a lot of shots, or 3 games missed a lot of shots. Domantas Sabonis was not him the entire series.
Yeah.
And De'Aaron Fox broke his finger. He broke his finger.
And he kept playing.
And they still almost pulled out that series. They still needed 7 games. I don't think they needed 50 points, but then, the Warriors Steph gave them 50 in that game 7 in order for them to win that game. I still think the Kings are a better team than the Warriors. It's just too many times. And I mean, I'm not going to count a regular season game towards I'm not going to say the Kings are a better team than the Lakers just because they beat them in the regular season. I feel like I got to view it in the prism of like a 7-game series. And I feel like if you play that 7-game series again, I think the Kings win.
right now with
I
this
think right now.
with this new and improved
I think right now with this
Warriors
new and
roster.
improved, yeah.
I think it would go 7 again.
I think it would go 6. I think the
Kings
would,
in
I think
6.
the Kings would win in 6.
You heard it
I
here
think
first.
With another year of experience, and I just, Chris Paul. If you're talking Chris Paul at the end of this year, or like over 82 games, not just the first 4 games of the year.
Yeah,
he's 38 years old. Let's not forget. Like the dude he's going to show some wear and tear.
38.
He's up there.
He's not 38.
Let's see here.
Because LeBron is not. LeBron is what? 39.
Chris Paul is 38 years old.
Chris Paul is 38.
Chris Paul is 38 years
so
old.
LeBron is
May 6th.
So LeBron is 39.
LeBron is
or
LeBron
older
might
38.
be 40.
Because LeBron is older than. He's the oldest player in the league.
LeBron is 38 as well. Yeah.
Okay.
December
so
30th. So he's about to turn 39
right
at the end of this year.
Wow. And then I don't know if you saw it was a commercial or something like that with LeBron and Savannah saying he wants to play with Bryce as well.
I saw that the other day. I was like, bro, we haven't even gotten to Bronny yet.
I know. All right. Got to get to a break. More Kings talk, Niners talk when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
I'm Ebony Loren, and Febrez's new scent, Soothe and Restore, is so good I wrote a song about it. I know just what I do. Febreze has my favorite scent. Makes the perfect environment. Sweet like sugar, smooth shea butter. What could be better than being with each other now? Breathe happy Febreze. La, 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 la.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own report.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. Bold predictions at 1:30. Bold predictions at 1:30. 916-339-1140. Get your bold predictions in for the game tonight. Kings, Warriors, get them in. We're going to take a quick break from the Kings as we break down some things going on in the NFL and bring it back to the Niners. Eric S. on the YouTube chat, does Bronny play again? I haven't heard about his return yet. I'm pretty sure he's playing. He was at Midnight Madness. He's in a jersey.
Yeah.
I'm pretty darn sure that
I know they cleared him long term. I don't know if he's like been officially cleared to like play game action right here, right now. But I know they said like the heart issue won't be like a long term thing that he has to worry about.
Right. So yeah, definitely going to keep an eye on that. You know, we know what went down there. So I want to see Bronny play.
Absolutely.
You know, I think it's good for the game. You know, you have for college football, you got Coach Prime in Colorado, and college basketball, you got Bronny. It's just reasons for people to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
You got Cooper Flagg, who just now committed to Duke, right? So he'll be coming into because college basketball is very interesting to me, right? It's one of those things where
this is not interesting.
Well, that's exactly what I'm going to say. Is anybody else? You turn on. What is it? Super Tuesdays when they have games, Tuesdays and Saturdays, and you see what's your limit for what would make you watch, right? If it's #1 at the beginning, they have these games and they're in Hawaii.
Yes.
#1 Duke versus #2 Michigan State. It's a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
You're at home. Are you watching?
Yeah, I think so. That's the thing is it takes those like it's got to be like probably a top 8. I guess I'll just expand it to 10. It's got to be a top 10 matchup. It's got to be two top 10 teams.
That's the limit.
Or at least have like some name, like you're saying, that I know of. Like is so and so playing. Besides that, though, I mean, no.
Yeah.
Pretty much no.
Are you
It's almost
into
a
March
guarantee.
Madness?
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. Not as much as like everybody. Not like I obsess over it and do tons of research. And think
but
it's like
nobody
the best
does.
time of the year.
Nobody
but,
does.
Yeah, it's a great time, and I love the stories that come from it. But I will say I'm not as big of a fan of parody as everybody else is.
You want to see the Blue Bloods
for the most part? Yeah, like I'm okay with week 1 upsets or whatever, like round 1 upsets, maybe even a round 2 upset here or there. But to me, like.
You don't want to see.
I don't want to see Connecticut against San Diego State.
Wow.
I just don't. I'm sorry. Like,
wow.
I know it's cool that everybody gets to maybe get their shine, and kind of both teams came out of nowhere to an extent, but that's not what the casual viewer wants to see. Casual viewer wants to see Duke, North Carolina.
You don't want to see Florida Gulf Coast, huh?
No. I mean, again, it's fun for like a week. It's fun for a game or two, but no, I don't want to see a team that is full of guys that I will literally never hear from again.
It's future accountants.
I'm
not
good.
UC Davis, dude. When they made it in one time,
that doesn't move you.
Come on.
They
what about
can win a game.
State? What about Sac State on a? Come on now.
They can win a game.
That's wild.
I mean, sure, if they go on the run, I'll be like, that's awesome for Sac State. But I also have a connection to Sac State. I don't have a connection to Florida Gulf Coast.
Are you rooting against Sac State? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And clip this too.
Yes.
Stingers down.
Stingers down.
I'm
telling Jason tomorrow. I can't believe that. All right. Well, hopefully Bronny gets back out there. I'm pretty sure he will be out there. And college basketball, we need stuff like this so people like Chris will be convinced to watch. And, as a Temple Owl, I can't wait for basketball to start so I can be heartbroken. But at least I can be heartbroken because in football, I'm just embarrassed.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't wait for that to happen as well. As we look around quickly, the NFL, Desmond Ridder has been benched, right? And
about time.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I that's supposed to be a year from. I was really, when we go back to the Trey Lance thing, which made its return briefly with Brock and the concussion, and was it going to be Sam Darnold? Then Brock ends up playing, and now he's not playing that well. The Falcons, that was interesting to me because the one thing that gave me a red flag on Trey is that I understand that these players are very much like cars, right? As soon as you drive them off the lot, as soon as they get drafted per se, they lose value because you got another kid coming in that's younger and you're just going to see what else is out there. I mean, look at the amount of quarterbacks that have been drafted since Trey Lance has been drafted, right? And they're all over the place and there are more coming out. So I get that, but it was concerning to me that none of these teams that didn't have a guy I don't know if did the Bucks even have Baker at that point? Maybe, but you had the Falcons, you had a couple other teams that you would have thought, oh, maybe there was a rumor about the Vikings because he's from Minnesota. So it was really interesting to me that the Falcons weren't interested in Trey Lance to have them duke it out. I think the Falcons maybe thought, okay, let's just go all in on Desmond Ridder.
They really believed in him.
And now all of a sudden it's another guy, Taylor Heineke, coming back from the great beyond to save another franchise so we can have, what was it? Was it Heineke Magic? What was that?
No, there was Minshew Magic. There was Fitz Magic.
What was Heineke? Did he have something?
I don't think so.
Heineke time.
He had a run, though.
Heineken has to sponsor him, dude.
Yeah,
how has
true.
that not happened?
Yeah. Every time they're about to, he disappears again.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll get very close again, and then he will disappear. So Desmond Ridder benched, Jimmy G benched, and also Darren Waller, for you Raider fans out there, will not be playing. He's out multiple weeks with a hamstring injury. A lot of Raider fans are not happy about that, but happy about this being one of the positive moves that this regime made, because Darren Waller, great story and all that good stuff, but just has not been able to stay on the field. So maybe, just maybe the Raiders can give a team a dose of their own medicine when they've given out wins to Jeff Saturday and to Tyler Badgett and all these guys. Maybe Antonio Pierce can come in and beat a Giants team. Daniel Jones is a mess.
Yeah.
And I say all this to say, and again, we had Akash Anavarathan on earlier with some great stuff about the Niners and Brock Purdy. I say all this to say it is, when you put it in perspective like that and the messes that are going around the NFL, specifically quarterback-wise, coming down Brock Purdy's road is ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's insane.
And Kyle Shanahan was asked if he would even think about switching things up at the quarterback position. He basically said, no, why the heck would you ask me that?
I just would have laughed in his face.
Exactly. So, I look at all those things going on with the Niners versus other teams, and I get it. Brock Purdy hasn't looked great, but when you look at where they're at on a guy that you're basically paying peanuts,
it could be so much worse.
It could be so much worse.
And I don't think I don't want to say I don't think Niner fans fully understand it, but this is kind of why I've been saying, like, I just want to see a week, maybe 2 of Sam Darnold, because I just think we've kind of lost perspective of
for that reason, not to see him.
No. To kind of regain an appreciation for what Brock is doing. And it's not necessarily to say, oh my gosh, like Brock actually was playing at an elite. No, like it's more just so you know that it might not be great, but it could be actively bad.
Yeah, like flash some cold water in your face, wake you up a little bit.
That's really what it would be. Is Sam Darnold experience, even if it's a quarter or whatever, but just
smelling
seeing what
salts.
It could look like.
Right.
Smelling salts.
There
that.
It is.
That's what they need. And it's crazy to me that there is conversation even being thrown out there that maybe the Niners should look elsewhere from Brock Purdy because of performance issues.
Yeah,
guys have bad weeks.
Well, and even the Jimmy G comparisons. I mean, that's insane because of what we just saw from Jimmy G. So I think the Niner fans should be counting their lucky stars. Is Brock perfect? No, but the Niners believe. And Trey Lance, again, nobody was even looking for him. I think he was just a pawn used to try to fire up Dak Prescott, which didn't really work initially. Maybe it'll work, and he wasn't a good enough spy when they played the Niners either. All right, got to get to a break. 1:30 when we get back. Bold predictions. Line them up now in the chat. Line up the calls right now. YouTube chat. Text line as well. Bold predictions. You're going to hear from us. We want to know what yours are as well. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and all NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is an entertainment experience like no other. We're the only place where you can play blackjack, then hop on an indoor car track. We're the only place with more than 2,000 of the hottest slots and a state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and a resort hotel to stay after you play. Is it any wonder we've been voted best over 100 times? We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
The glory and the greatness are only a few days away. The 40th running of the Breeders' Cup World Championships at Santa Anita is finally here. The ultimate racing showdown that every owner, trainer, and jockey around the globe has in their sights. With $31 million in purses and awards, there's a lot at stake, but only the best will claim the coveted title of World Champion. Coverage begins Friday, November 3rd on USA and continues Saturday, November 4th on USA and NBC. Visit breederscup.com to learn more.
Hi, I can help whoever's next.
Cooper's Overnight Shipping Company has to deliver the goods.
Ship these gifts to your grandkids.
They need a logistics manager to keep the wheels turning.
126 packages going to Toronto, Tuscaloosa, Montreal, and Minneapolis. Oh boy.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Nate Littlefield. These are your Sactown Sports headlines. Your Sacramento Kings are back. They're in the Bay to take on the Warriors again. De'Aaron Fox will not be playing for the Kings, and do not expect to see Trey Lyles either as he recovers from a calf injury. Coverage starts right here at Sactown Sports, 5:30 p.m. with game night, leading up to tip-off, 7 p.m. with the G-Man. Speaking of the Sacramento Kings, we have some wild, crazy, and bold predictions for you right now on the last half hour of Stiles and Watkins.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports, one more segment till we link up with the drive guys, Whitey and Draper, as we get you ready, get you set for Kings Warriors. That's going down in the Bay. Let us know. Anybody going down?
Ooh.
Anybody going down to the Bay to check it out?
Our guys Frankie and Brendan are. I know that for sure. But those
Alan,
guys are basketball freaks.
Do you prefer? Have you been to Golden One yet?
That was, yes, my first couple times this past weekend.
Okay. How would you rank Chase Center? I'm not talking about fans, none of that.
Okay.
Just architecture, building, food, all that stuff. Chase and Golden One. Where do you put? What's the better bank?
Well, I have to still go to Golden One as a fan. I've only been as media. So I haven't had the experience. So get back to, I don't think
What
it's
food
fair.
were they serving?
At the for the media?
We had spaghetti and meatballs,
Yeah,
and everybody was complaining that the meatballs were spicy. I thought they were pretty banging, but I like spicy food.
Yeah.
And then, the chili Colorado. Yeah. The chili Colorado, which I only had a little bit because I was.
The media dining has been a very hot button topic.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
I've never had food named after a state. I guess Texas toast.
Texas toast, which is banging.
Yeah.
I
But
do love
chili
some Texas
Colorado.
toast. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be Colorado chili?
I don't even know what it was.
Sorry, I'm trying out my type 5 for my stand-up tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's so
No, I hear you.
so
Yeah,
stupid.
that's it. Chili Colorado. Mhm. Good
Oh
stuff.
man,
It's good stuff. You know, I'm
It
easy
was
to
not
please.
good. I was not pleased.
But yeah, get back to
I
me.
appreciate fruit.
Get back to me when I go to a game as a fan.
We'll have to make that happen.
Great cookies, though. I think everyone would say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every time I'm media there, my friends are like, "Please bring me a cookie," and I'm like, "I can barely get one."
Right.
It's a war zone
It
down
is.
there.
It is.
It really
is. I know Chris
It's
was.
gotten to the point where like opposing media will come in and say, you have to try these cookies.
You
Like
gotta
they'll
get the
tell all their
cookies.
buddies, like, have you ever been out to Sac before? You
Right.
got to try the cookies. You got to try.
You got to go and get them. All right. Bold prediction time. We see a couple today right now on the YouTube chat and the text line.
Ooh.
Let's go to Nate first.
He was most excited.
Yeah,
I'm
Nate, you
excited.
wanted to hopscotch your way on in here.
Yeah, I did.
What's your bold prediction?
Well, let me get this bed going. You guys cool with this? You guys want the bed?
No, this
I
is
like it.
great.
Okay. I'm gonna say, and I made this prediction before the first game against the Warriors.
Okay.
I think one of the coaches gets tossed. Yes, that's
Steve
a bold
Kerr or
prediction.
Mike Brown.
That is a bold prediction.
I think Mike Brown's probably. Steve Kerr was close that last game. He got pretty hot, but I think with De'Aaron being out, I don't know. I think
like this.
I think one of them gets tossed.
Maybe the Kings make it too close for comfort, and Steve tries to
Send
send a message to his team, like, guys,
Right.
let's wake up. Come on,
Yeah.
I don't have Fox out there.
Or maybe they're being blown out with a team without De'Aaron Fox.
That would be very Warriors-esque.
Yeah, and then the Warrior, and then Steph Curry puts up 70 or something. But anyways, yeah.
Does Draymond get a tech tonight?
I mean, that's a given, right?
It's his first game against the Kings.
How does he get the tech?
At
I
home,
think.
though.
How does he get the tech? That's more the question.
Yeah, at home is a good point. How would he get it? Probably talking trash.
I would just say yelling at the ref.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I bet he would yell at Sabonis or something, say, yeah, this is just like last time on, like really get in his face, and the ref would be like, all right, bro, you got to chill.
No.
That's what I'm gonna say.
But you think I haven't heard a bolder prediction. I think I like that
That's
one.
a really
Nate.
good one.
That's a good one.
You gotta
Of
get
course, you're
crazy.
going outside the box.
Because that would definitely be a like in terms of betting numbers, that would definitely be plus odds.
Yes.
Like plus 500.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
550.
Yeah.
Solid.
I would
And
say
I think that's a
550
decent bet too.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1-800 gambler.
I'm still right now. The hottest one I've seen is from Russell on the YouTube chat. Davion going for 20.
Yeah.
That's
hot.
aggressive.
Yeah, I wonder what Davion. Let me check what Davion's career high is. Even
The
because even I'm
Warriors,
seeing a lot of people saying Keegan career high as well. So curious what that number is.
the Warriors are favored by 7.5 tonight.
That's
so 8 points wins it. I'll throw a little side one on there too. Hopefully you guys don't have this one. The Kings win by 8 or more.
Oh, okay. Just filling up the parlays
Yeah.
here.
That needs to be like a term. They need a term for that. Like when you flip the bet
The
on its head.
overdog. The overdog.
But like when you end up beating the team, like if
Yeah,
you're a 4-point
right,
favorite, and
right.
then you end up beating the
Oh,
team
they
by
blanked
4.
them.
Yeah.
Instead of covered the spread, they smothered the spread.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Smother the
The
spread.
Kings will smother the spread. That's what's going down.
We gotta trademark that now.
Yeah, trade it out. Hey, cut it.
Yeah.
Trade it down. Amid rock, Draymond will get a tech by flopping. Somebody on the Kings got that tech. Who was that? A couple of days ago.
I think I do remember it.
Was it
Was
Duarte? Was it Duarte?
It might have been. Yeah, I remember it happening. I don't remember who it happened to.
Yeah. Somebody. Yeah,
that was the first
definitely-
time we had seen it.
It definitely happened. YouTube chat as well. A lot of Keegan going off.
Sure.
So I guess I'm going to be basic as well. And that's what I had. I got Keegan going for Trey 5.
Ooh.
I got Keegan going for 35.
That would definitely be a career high. Keegan's
Yeah.
career high is 30, which he had. Let me get that number. He had 30 points in Houston in February of last year. So 35 would definitely be a career high. I'm looking at Davion's career high as well. 28 points in an overtime loss to the Phoenix Suns last March.
Was De'Aaron out? How did he get to 28?
Probably.
Did he foul out?
Yes.
Ranger?
Check here. De'Aaron Fox.
Has De'Aaron ever fouled out?
That's a great question, too. De'Aaron did not play that game.
Okay.
So
That was
he's
2
capable.
years ago. That was Sabonis'
Okay.
first year.
So
Justin
he's
Holiday
capable.
was in that game.
He's capable.
Yeah, for sure. And that game, stat-wise, looked like he was 9 of 22. So that's a lot of shots for
No, he
Davion
was
Mitchell.
pulling.
Yeah.
9 of 22, 5 of 15 from 2, 4 of 7 from 3. So
Let's go.
The equation for Davion hitting that, what we had someone say 15, or I think I said 15. Someone said 20. If Davion's going to have a career night, it's probably going to take him hitting multiple threes. More times than not, if he's going to finish over 15 points, he has 3 or more threes.
Lock in.
So
Lock in right now. Chris, what's your bold prediction?
my bold prediction is going to be one Wardell, Stephen Curry.
Oh, the under.
Yeah, you better believe under 30 points. Please. For once. Can we just one time?
Under 30.
I'm okay with 29. I don't care if Chris Paul has 40. Can we just not let Steph Curry score 30 on the Kings?
Under
off the
30.
bench.
That'd be great. That would be fantastic to see Wardell, Stephen Curry finish the game with 29 points. That's all.
I
That's
can
all
see
want.
that.
That's all
I
I
can
wanna
see
see.
that. That's where Prize Picks always has them, 29 and a half.
I really don't care if the Kings win or lose. As long as Steph Curry is
No,
under
that's
30
wild.
points, that's a win to me.
No, that's wild. And Bo on the YouTube chat, my prediction, Sasha Vezenkov will score 20. I was going to say someone's got to have a hot Sasha take.
Yeah, I just we haven't seen the explosive scoring capability yet. Like he just hasn't gotten enough minutes yet to really warrant a 20-point performance. And I don't know. It'll be interesting tonight just to kind of watch what De'Aaron not being out there does to the rotation. Like, yeah, we assume Colby Jones will get some extended run. How about Colby Jones is gonna score 8+ tonight?
Okay.
Right.
How many
It's not really
minutes?
bold.
How many minutes you got for Sasha tonight? If I put it at 15 and a half.
That would be my number. 15 would be my number.
Okay, so you're taking the under. Alan?
Yeah, I'll go in.
I would probably do the same just because it's the first game without De'Aaron. So I
Yeah.
think you're going to go to who you're more used to.
Right.
I'm really surprised we didn't see anybody come in with a Herder hot take.
Sure. Or Sabonis even too. Like
Right. There's one in the chat right now. Sabonis triple-double.
Sabonis triple-double. How about
Bonus
that?
triple double.
Yeah.
I like that one. I mean, I think Sabonis, again, like when we were heading into the playoffs last year, obviously what happened with Sabonis in that series. But before the series started, everyone was circling that Kevon Looney-Sabonis matchup and saying, oh my gosh, Sabonis is going to eat.
Right.
Now, of course, we now have 9 games of evidence that say that it's not that cut and dry, and clearly Looney is a matchup problem for Sabonis, but I still think there's something there to Domantas Sabonis. If he's playing his game that we know he's capable of, he should be able to put up numbers. And really, there's no reason why. I haven't heard a good reason why Kevon Looney has been able to do the things he's done to Sabonis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like it's controllable, and I just think Domas has had a really tough time against the team. So how about him having a big night tonight?
Yeah, and he didn't play bad against the Warriors on Friday.
Even again in the playoffs, 16 and 10, average 50% from the field. It just wasn't what we thought he could be.
Yeah. So, I think there's some good ones out there. I think we can see any of these guys really turn it on the Jets and making sure that the Kings get this W, because, again, every game matters. And just because there's no De'Aaron Fox out there, we don't know how long he's out. All these games matter. It was a complete mess in the Western Conference last season. I assume it'll be the same. Say what you want about James Harden. I don't know if it's anything of note. I don't know if it moves me, but the Clippers did add another piece. So you got to get what you can get. And when the getting's good, and not to say the getting's good against the Warriors, but just put your best foot forward and see what happens. All right, getting to a break. When we get back, crosstalk with the Drive guys, Whitey and Draper.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award?
Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
For 35 years, TruckSmart has been your local leader in truck accessories. Find racks, toolboxes, and lighting for your work truck, and trailer hitches, side steps, and bed covers for recreation. They have shells for work or play, and offer Rhino lining, the best bed protection in the business. You like overlanding? TruckSmart has rooftop tents, recovery gear, and heavy-duty bumpers. Trust your ride to their skilled installers and expert sales staff at the Rockland and Auburn locations. TruckSmart. Your truck's gonna love them. TruckSmart.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at Fire Wings with some bullet points for you to remember so you can be a professional fire wing eater. Like Wings Day Wednesday, 88-cent wings each and every Wednesday. 3 flavor lineup includes 7 classic wing flavors, 7 dry rub wing flavors, 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Go to firewings.com or download the app, find a location near you, order online, earn rewards. Fire Wings, just wing it.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met good feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I had terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the good feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the Good Feet Arch Support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Cooler temperatures mean it's time to reduce your outdoor water use. Water 1 day per week on Saturday or Sunday from November 1st through February 29th. Learn more about your home's watering schedule at sacwaterwise.com.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, one more segment as we get you ready for the drive, guys. We are joined by Whitey Gleason. Whitey, how are you doing?
I was doing great until I heard that Keegan's going to Minnesota for Carl Anthony Towns.
Oh. Is that what you heard?
Fox and Tatum is, on the table. I don't know up from down all of a sudden.
You don't like a good
what is
trade
going
generator?
on?
You don't like a good trade generator?
I don't want to trade Keegan for Carl Anthony Towns. That's what I don't want.
That's what I didn't. I said no. I eventually said no. I think that
you had to.
I think you would have to have a meeting about it. I think you would have to get Monty and Wes
about it. Come on, people just don't like Carl Anthony Towns because he changes the sound of his voice.
Yeah.
From very high to very low.
Do you know why
the
they
situation?
And I know we're just having fun with potential trades. You know why the Timberwolves picked up Rudy Gobert? Because they needed some defense. So if you get Carl Anthony Towns and you put in with Sabonis, you're gonna have to score like 140 a game.
And I think that's possible.
And
I think
you will.
That's possible, definitely.
Well, he did change the game.
He did. He changed the game,
and he's the best big man shooter. So.
Yeah,
ever.
Yeah.
So there's always that. Would you say anybody's untouchable? I mean, that's where the root of the conversation came from. Is anybody on the Kings truly untouchable? I think we settled on De'Aaron as the truly untouchable, but besides that,
they just committed all that money to Sabonis. I would say De'Aaron and Sabonis and Keegan.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, could be wrong, but that's the way it looks to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would just have to take something really special for them to move on from Keegan. Philip Petrusev. Yeah. Don't let your Petrusev thoughts in.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something about Petrusev.
No, what I'm saying is he's the other untouchable.
Yeah, he's the other untouchable right now. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty. Did you have anything on Mr. Petrusev? Because that came out. I was like, I love to watch basketball. I watch college basketball even to an extent. I think we talked about that, but even
Gonzaga, right? It's like, okay.
I remember Drew Timme. Yeah. I remember Chet Holmgren.
Drew Timme is still there.
He is probably is. I really think he is still there. Actually, no, he's not.
No, he's finally gone. Why did we just did bold predictions? What is your bold prediction for tonight's game?
Well, this isn't a bold prediction. This is money, but I think Kyle Draper is going to do a great job with the call tonight. That's not really bold. It's like, of course he is.
All right.
But looking forward to talking to him today. He'll be coming to us, of course, from Chase Center. He's got the call for NBC Sports California once again, play-by-play.
Nice.
That's all fine and good. That's your co-host. I respect that, but I need something else.
Malik Monk tonight is going to score 27.
I like that.
That's
I like that.
Yeah, because he did have a tough go. Not a tough go, but he just didn't have the game I know he wanted to have against Golden State on Friday.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but he was flat, and that's one thing like Malik Monk can't be
flat.
Yeah.
Especially not with De'Aaron out.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think, to be completely honest with you, fire against fire, I think that being on the road, Malik Monk's one of those guys that likes to quiet an audience, right? A crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it helps that Draymond's playing.
Oh, for sure.
I think Malik Monk wants someone to talk trash and go back and forth with, and having Draymond out there, I think, is going to fire him up.
I like that. I like that a lot because, Malik is definitely that kind of guy where, he's just looking for anybody to spark him up. And the second he has that fire lit under him, I don't think there's any extinguishing it. So I definitely think tonight is a huge opportunity for Malik to kind of build upon that playoff series he had last year for sure.
And 3 threes for Davion. My God.
Love that.
Okay.
Love that.
He hasn't been shooting that well.
Do you think he's the one who, everybody collectively definitely needs to step up without De'Aaron, but is he the one who, obviously the most eyes are going to be drawn to him, but is he the one who needs to step up the most, you think, with De'Aaron out?
In some ways, but he's got to do it defensively. I heard you guys talking about it. And some of that you don't really notice, but he's got to do that. Everybody's got to do a little bit. I think maybe Keegan and Monk and Sabonis are the three that really have to have excellent games. It's who knows, but I mean, they couldn't beat him with Fox. Now no Fox. I mean, it's hard finding a path to victory, right? If we're being honest here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not impossible though. Someone on the YouTube chat earlier was like, I don't know why you guys are acting like this. You're delusional for thinking the Kings have a shot at even winning tonight.
Warrior fan much?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We found the burner. We found the burner account. And from the Warriors side, Whitey, we've talked a little bit about how Andrew Wiggins has struggled, right?
He's so Canadian lately.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, it's just like he's just okay with it all. He's
throw me the
like,
ball,
hey,
eh? Yeah.
Hey, go ahead. Hey,
Or not.
You do what you want to do, eh?
Yeah, or not. And Chris says that there are certain Harrison Barnes variants, if we're taking it to Marvel.
Yeah.
And Andrew Wiggins would be one of those variants. And it does seem, he's not closing games right now. Andrew Wiggins hasn't been. Kuminga has. So everything isn't great in Warrior world. Stephen A. Smith said that he believes earlier this week the Kings are the best team in California. Chris agreed. I said I would still have the Warriors. What would you say?
The Warriors are great right now. I mean, did you guys, they beat Houston, and then the game against New Orleans was on, and Steph Curry's playing out of his mind. I thought the Chris Paul thing was going to take some time. The fact that Chris Paul came out and is willing already to come off the bench and play as well as he is, that's just huge for the culture. It's almost like it's reminiscent of Iguodala saying, I'll come off the bench. It's huge for them. And momentum can change, very quickly. But right now, I think they got to be thrilled with the way it's coming together for them. And Draymond's just coming back. So it doesn't make me happy to say that, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, I would agree, unfortunately. But at the same time, the Kings, whenever a conversation like that happens, that just means you have opportunity. And when you're playing shorthanded, you have even more opportunity. That's how I would look at it if I were the Kings. And this is a game where we talked about players, coaches yesterday. This is a game where a player's coach like Mike Brown can really fire up his team. There was that clip going around from a couple weeks ago with him getting after Malik Monk, and that's the type of guy he is. So I think on a night like tonight where that there are going to be a lot of people that feel like we heard earlier from one of our listeners about not having a chance, I feel like Mike Brown thrives on stuff like that.
You know what I'm feeling about tonight, and I bet a lot of Kings fans are feeling this way, and I'll bet you guys are. And I never thought I'd say this. I'm hoping the Kings can shut up Steph Curry. And,
that'd be great.
I remember a guy
awesome.
in his career in the NBA who started as kind of a really humble, great guy, and then by the end of his career was like, doing all the gesticulations and everything.
But he always tried like that, though.
Trying to get me riled up.
He never was that demonstrative about it. And I don't know of anyone. And I'm not.
That's what happens with your older age, right? Your grandmas, when they get older, they say, "Hey,
start flexing."
Yeah, I think you need to lose some weight. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? There's no filter. Steph is just losing his filter the older he gets. He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
He just doesn't care.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I do care.
I do too.
Yeah.
I really do too.
I would love to see. It's really hard. He's playing great right now.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the Kings just shut him up.
Guys, if Davion Mitchell could hit the night on Steph Curry, oh my God. I'll have a new phone wallpaper.
Hey, Steph, we're going to go home and light the beam.
Oh my gosh.
The real beam.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I have a new goal for tonight, and it's to see that. That's all I want to see.
Well, we talked about just throwing out all the gimmicky defenses you can. Don't guard Draymond at the 3-point line. Just trap Steph every single time. Why not? Why not just get the ball out of his hands?
I definitely think they need to pressure him at least. Like you just can't. Like you have to make this game hard for him. How many times is this guy gonna have to give you 30 before you understand? Just anybody else, please, just make anyone else beat you. And I know it's a lot easier said than done. But blitz him at the second he crosses half court. Leave Andrew Wiggins open from 3. I don't care. Just don't let it be number 30 that beats you tonight.
This is probably kind of silly, and Kyle was yesterday telling me, that's pretty risky, and I know it is. But we know at the end of the game Friday when the Kings were, it's like, wow, we're probably going to lose this no matter what. So they started trapping Paul and Curry, and they had a lot of success with it. And the Warriors started throwing the ball all over. And some of that was just the Warriors losing their focus. But I'm wondering if we're going to see any more of that, because you had both those players, all-time greats, and you had Sabonis and Duarte with these traps. Like, those were really impressive traps.
Mhm.
I wonder if that's something we may see a little
That's
bit
a
of
great call. I forgot about the defense that Duarte was playing on Steph. Instead of seeing Davion on him for this entire game, maybe you do kind of split up time defensively with Duarte and Davion, because you are going to need some offense from Davion as well. You can't just have him going out there chasing Steph Curry around like a junkyard dog. Like he's going to have to keep something for the offensive end. I completely forgot about how well Duarte did on Steph.
in the old days, it would have just touched him up a little bit.
Yeah, right, exactly. You would have thrown him to the ground one time, and he would have taught him a lesson, and he wouldn't do it again.
Yeah, well that's what I'm worried about with Davion, is Davion being a little bit too amped up about this matchup and getting into foul trouble.
Yeah.
That's what you can't have happen.
Yeah, he was in foul trouble on Sunday.
Unless you're ready to see Colby Jones, which I don't think. No. I think Houston Rockets would be a better time.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see. Yeah,
we're gonna see him.
We're gonna see him.
I don't want to see him for 20 minutes.
Did you guys hear what Drape said about Herter and Curry? This is incredible.
No.
He said that the Kings, and this was just what he had heard, it's not his opinion. He said that in the last game, a lot of people wondered why Herter was on Curry so much, right? A lot of us. And Drape says that he heard the Kings had their own in-house analytics showed that Herter was doing a really good job on Curry. And that's the type of thing I think most people, 98% of us would go, what? But that's one reason why the Kings were doing some things that had people scratching their heads. Apparently their own numbers indicated Kevin Herter was doing a good job.
Interesting.
That's very interesting.
It is, isn't it?
I'm double checking now because we were looking at the individual player defensive ratings. And if I'm not mistaken, Kevin Herter was the second highest defensive rated player of all of the Sacramento Kings, with the exception of De'Aaron Fox. So, maybe it's not even necessarily super deep analytical numbers. It's just the Kings as a team might be, for whatever reason, they might just be a better defensive team with Kevin Herter. He also led the team in deflections last year, which is a huge stat. I mean, you talk about them being able to trap Steph. Forcing them into turnovers is how you kind of get the Warriors to beat themselves.
It's when they're at their worst.
It's when they're at their worst. And if you can get positive defensive minutes out of Kevin Herter, I mean, that's absolutely massive, especially if he can start hitting the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's not the only one, De'Aaron Fox, his defense, you're not going to have it. But this team defensively, I think right now we were looking at it, they're 21st, but it's still too early. They're fluctuating.
Well, they were horrible against the Warriors, but they were pretty good against the Lakers.
Right. And if you can find yourself that every other one, middle of the pack, that's exactly. Now, you don't want to give up losses in those games where you might be off, but the fact that we know that there's a level that they can get to and sustain throughout the course of a game, I think that is something that we can really look forward to when it comes to the Warriors or to the Kings.
Heard this is kind of inside stuff. Their game plan against the Warriors was not good, and it turns out it had been drawn up by Steve Wilkes. I don't know if you heard that.
That explains it.
Yeah.
Drops the mic.
I was just wondering. I was like, why are they playing so soft?
Right.
Wow.
And then, so much better against the Lakers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's why you turn into the Drive Guys, man. You get information like that.
Turn into the Drive Guys. Thanks for listening to Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL?
Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement.